Chapter 88. Bermuda Islands in the North Atlantic Ocean is an autonomous overseas territory of the United Kingdom. It relies on finance and tourism, and is known as a tax haven and company haven. It is a world-famous offshore financial center. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a direct flight from Wuxia to Hamilton in Bermuda. A group of yellow-skinned Asians walk out of the airport. Though they move fast, they still attract a lot of passers-by. There are about a dozen men and women. They are all tall and slender. Half of their faces can be seen under the sunglasses. They are all good-looking. 2 foreign men carrying big bags are surprised. "Mike, is this a model team from Asia? Is there a show in Hamilton? Look at the beauty leading them." Lynn Laurent's sunglasses cover most of her face. However, her temperament is as sharp as an unsheathed sword. In the eyes of foreigners, Lynn Laurent is like a tall, big-mouthed beauty in Europe and the United States. Lynn Laurent's temperament melts the aesthetic difference between the East and the West. Cultivators can easily understand simple English, as long as they try to learn it. Therefore, the conversation between the 2 backpackers is heard by the team. When Guanjing looks ordinary, in the eyes of foreigners he is an Asian. He is not wearing sunglasses. Glancing at Lynn Laurent, who is walking in front of him, he can't even tease her. Of course, they have already arranged some cars. There are several inconspicuous business cars with the sign of Expedition Team. In Bermuda, which is a tourist paradise full of luxury cars, these cars can only be regarded as ordinary cars. Wuxia people are indeed moderate. Lynn Laurent bends down and sits in the passenger seat. Then she takes off her sunglasses. Some of them are young talents in the cultivation world of Wuxia. However, they are timid in front of Lynn Laurent. They push each other and don't dare to sit in the same car with her. When Guanjing touches his nose and sits in the back seat, the driver finally starts the car. "Brother one, I heard that Wuxia is not the only one participating in this mission?" Lynn Laurent sees when Guanjing sitting still in the rearview mirror. She doesn't know whether it is a good idea or not. Since these temporary teammates know that she has met Master Gua and Master Mu, they all want to talk to her but dare not to disturb her. Lynn Laurent has to re-evaluate the status of Master Mu and Master Mu in the cultivation world of Wuxia. However, this trip to Bermuda is not a sure thing. Lynn Laurent doesn't want her teammates to be afraid or disdainful of her. A harmonious team relationship is the most likely way to save their lives. When Guanjing adjusts his mentality, hearing that Lynn Laurent is only about to complete the level of training Qi, when Guanjing sighs. Different people have different fates. He used to be the most powerful cultivator among the new generation of cultivators in the state of Wuxia. But he is easily defeated by this girl, who has only been cultivating for a few months, and has been defeated by a master cultivator. When Guanjing is upset at first. However, after hearing Master Mu and Master Gua's comments about Lynn Laurent, when Guanjing knows that Lynn Laurent is not only talented, but also has a good character. When Guanjing's dilemma turns into an epiphany, maybe Lynn Laurent, who can stand up for a mortal, is different from them? Thinking of these thoughts, when Guanjing gives Lynn Laurent an answer quickly. Yes, the US, the UK, Europe and Japan. There are more than 10 countries in total. Lynn Laurent doesn't say anything. Instead, she closes her eyes to rest in the passenger seat. Of course, if you have good eyesight, you can see that Lynn Laurent is stroking a beautiful blue double-headed phoenix hairpin in her right hand. As Lynn Laurent fiddles with it, there is a trace of blue luster flowing on the hairpin, which can easily be ignored by the naked eye under the sunlight. It is different from before. This phoenix hairpin seems to be unlocked, and it is no longer an ordinary hairpin. When Guanjing feels the fluctuation of Reiki in Lynn Laurent's hands all the way. This is also one of the reasons why the outstanding cultivators dare not to get close to Lynn Laurent. It is said that the hairpin is a spirit weapon, and no one knows how powerful it is. It is better not to mess with the disciple of a master. Hello. In such a depressing atmosphere, Lynn Laurent's cell phone suddenly rings. "Laurent, have you arrived there?" Baojia's energetic voice comes from the other end of the phone. Lynn Laurent is very happy every time she hears Baojia's voice. People always cherish what they almost lose. Baojia was seriously injured a few days ago, and Lin Luoran feels lucky that her friend got a blessing in disguise. Lin Luoran's cold temperament fades a little. She smiles. I just got off the plane. How about you? Have you met my parents? I took Mr. and Mrs. Lin to the villa at the back of the mountain in the Qingqing city. Luodong is also there. You can do whatever you want in Bermuda with him. Baojia pauses for a while. It seems that she is going to ask Mr. and Mrs. Lin to talk to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran vaguely hears her parents saying that international calls are too expensive. Only Luodong takes the phone and calls Lin Luoran's sister. Lin Luoran can feel the longing of her family from a long distance. The night of Bermuda begins in advance, so Lin Luoran has no time to spare. Since Baojia's accident, Lin Luoran has not been home yet. Lin Luoran says something to Baojia, and then hangs up. Mr. and Mrs. Lin can't change their temperament in a short time. Lin Luoran calls to reassure both of them. She can only do this much without actually meeting them. The villa in the Qingqing city that Baojia mentioned is a gift from Master Mu and Master Gua. Lin Luoran has never seen it herself. Lin Luoran will accept the gift as a thank you gift for the jade. The house is not the most important thing. It is said that the current schoolmaster of the Qingqing city is also a cultivator, a good friend of Mr. and Mrs. Lin. He is also a senior in the level of laying foundation. Lin Luoran is not afraid of Ellie, but she is worried that the Zhou family will trace it back to her. Although this matter has been suppressed by the special department, the Zhou family may do something behind the scenes. After all, the Zhou family is a family of officials in the capital. It is really easy for them to find trouble with the Lin family. Now Lin Luoran lets her parents and Luodong live in the villa in the Qingqing city, which is much safer. Lin Luoran feels the ability of a cultivator, and the spells of the 5 elements become more and more real recently. Chapter 89. Lin Luoran and her companions stay in a famous 5-star chain hotel, which has nothing to do with public expense reimbursement. After all, they are all cultivators. Not to mention the support of their families, they occasionally humbly take on some side jobs. Booking a room in such a hotel all year round is just a drop in the bucket. If the young cultivators in this group are all outstanding like a group of elegant white cranes, Lin Luoran is even more outstanding like the red-crowned crane in this group of white cranes. Pushing open the revolving door, they see the clean and grand lobby of the hotel. The check-in procedure is already done. Lin Luoran and her friends just need to check in. In the corner of the lobby, there is a man and a woman who have been staring at Lin Luoran and her friends since they come in. Their eyes are shining with greed. The woman has wavy chestnut-colored hair. Her eyes are also chestnut-colored. Her nose is high and her skin is flawless. Unlike many foreign beauties who are only suitable to be looked at from a distance. Generally speaking, this woman is a European beauty. Dana, she is my cup of tea. She is such an exquisite Oriental beauty. The chestnut-haired Caucasian beauty said to her companion, as the amber liquid swirled in the goblet. Her eyes flashed with greed and a trace of possessiveness. Appreciating beauty was an innate human instinct, but very few people would want to possess someone or something for the first time they saw it. This chestnut-haired Caucasian beauty was obviously not an easy target to get along with. The man called Dana had slightly curly hair, a fair face, and a slender figure. The fine details on his cuffs and lapels made him look like a European nobleman. One could not be called a nobleman just because he was handsome and well-dressed. Instead, he should be like Dana, who gave people a feeling of being rich just by sitting casually. There is appreciation and greed in his eyes. Obviously, he is more rational than the woman with chestnut-colored hair. Crystal, are you out of your mind because you haven't been out for a long time? Look at the man beside her. Crystal raises her eyebrows. She sees Wen Guanjing behind Lin Luoran and says disapprovingly, "Is that St? I can't believe that you were defeated by such an ordinary-looking man." His sore spot was touched, but Dana only curved his eyes and took a sip of the wine in his glass. He did not lose his temper and behaved like a gentleman. Of course, if you look closely, you can see that he is looking at Crystal coldly. St. This man was called the Butcher by the superpower circle in Europe. It was not a shameful thing for the arrogant Dana to lose to him. If Crystal insists on having a try, Dana has no intention of stopping her. Crystal has always been so arrogant because of her bloodline. As soon as Lin Luoran enters the hall, she feels that two people are staring at her, which makes her very uncomfortable. Before stepping into the elevator, Lin Luoran follows the feeling and sees a foreign woman with long chestnut-colored hair sitting in the corner of the hall. The woman is raising her glass to Lin. Lin Luoran has an illusion that she is being flirted with by a woman of the same sex. This makes Lin Luoran very unhappy. Noticing Lin's hesitation, when Guanjing looks in the direction she is looking at, he sees another old acquaintance, Dana, and he snorts. Lin Luoran raises her eyebrows. What? Do you know them? When Guanjing doesn't take it seriously at all. They are two little fleas. I guess they are the representatives of the UK. Speaking of fleas, when Guanjing's expressionless face shows that the two people are not as relaxed as he says. The moment the elevator door closes, Lin Luoran casts a spell with her right hand. A small fireball gathers on her fingertip and shoots out quickly and quietly. It is not noticeable under the golden light of the hall. Crystal steps back and the fireball hits the wine glass in her hand. Bang! The wine splashes and Dana dodges like a ghost. Crystal doesn't expect that the fireball is aimed at the wine glass in her hand. She can't dodge it, and the wine splashes all over her face. The elevator door is closed. Crystal stands there. Her haute couture dress is stained with wine, which attracts all kinds of guests in and out of the hotel. For people of her family who always pay attention to their image, this is more shameful than getting hurt. Crystal's face is pale, and there is no anger on her face. However, there is danger in her eyes. Seeing that his friend is being teased, Dana hands a handkerchief to Crystal. He smiles and says, "What are you talking about? Is this what people in the state of Wuxia call a show of strength?" Crystal stares at him and smiles instead of being angry. "I haven't seen such a beautiful woman for a long time. She is mine." She licks her sexy red lips. Apart from being sexy, she is also seductive and frightening. The elevator keeps going up. Many people can't resist the temptation of looking down from a bird's eye view. Therefore, most of the suites are on the top floor, which is a good arrangement for the customers. Lin Luoran is not reckless, but she has never been a pushover. It is normal for her to give an appropriate warning to those who speak disrespectfully. Lin Luoran's move is fast and stealthy. Among all the people here, only when Guanjing is aware of Lin Luoran's action. On the way up, Lin Luoran notices that when Guanjing is hesitating to say something, she says in a low voice, "He is not one of us. He will be our opponent sooner or later in the night of Bermuda. Now he is just an appetizer. Brother Wen, don't worry." When Guanjing, whose nickname is ST, certainly doesn't care about this. Lin Luoran is more or less their secret weapon. When Guanjing is just worried that Lin Luoran will expose her strength in advance, so that her opponent will be prepared. Hearing Lin Luoran's words, Wen agrees. It will happen in a few days anyway. If they really turn against each other, they will have to rely on their strength. What's the point of hiding it? When Guanjing stops talking, they go to the top floor and make an appointment to meet in the dining room after washing up. Lin Luoran swipes her room card and opens the door. Lin Luoran is very satisfied with the simple but expensive decoration and the refreshing and pleasant style of the room. What is more beautiful is the beautiful view of the sea outside the floor-to-ceiling window. Lin Luoran can see the beautiful girls in bikinis sunbathing on the beach in the distance. The blue waves are getting bigger and bigger, and the skateboarders are moving up and down with the waves. If it weren't for this mission, this would be a nice resort. Chapter 90. There are many wonders in the world around 30 degrees north latitude. The Black Triangle of Bermuda is one of them. In a small meeting room, when Guanjing draws a large area of the sea on the projector screen with the infrared light in his hand, it stops at the Bermuda Delta area. Every one of us may have heard of the Black Triangle of Bermuda. It is called the black hole of the earth. Ships sink, people go missing, and planes crash all year round. This is our destination this time. After saying that, when Guanjing looks around, because of his solemn tone, people in the seats listen to him carefully. Brother Wen, I've heard about it too. However, there is another saying that most of these disappearances are fabricated. Is it true that the frequency of accidents in the Black Triangle is actually lower than that in other dangerous waters? The one speaking is another girl in the group besides Lin Luoran. She is wearing a long dress that looks like a palace dress of the Tang dynasty. She has a standard oval face and big eyes. She is round and lovely. She looks like a lady in the Tang dynasty. It seems that this girl is popular in the team. Hearing her words, Wen Guanjing can't help but smile. Junior sister apprentice Li, these textual evidences are all official statements. In fact, in the past 2 years, as the opening time of Bermuda Night approaches, the number of ship accidents in Black Triangle has increased a lot. Junior sister Li's oval face blushed, as if embarrassed that she had asked such an idiotic question. Lin Luoran lowers her head and says nothing. Official statements. No wonder so many forces are involved. Obviously, this is the result of a unified statement. So what does Bermuda Night refer to? When Guanjing doesn't know what Lin is thinking, but he still says, these are all superficial information. In fact, there is a secret land hidden at the bottom of the delta. It is specially prepared for cultivators. Secret land? Lin Luoran rolls her eyes. It is exactly what she thought at the beginning, when Guanjing said that they can keep whatever they find. Lin Luoran has suspected that the so-called Night of Bermuda is a treasure-hunting mission of the cultivation world. Secret land? Sister Li's eyes light up. Brother, are there treasures in it? When Guanjing nods. There are not only treasures, but also opportunities to lay foundation. All the seniors in Wuxia who are able to lay foundation obtained opportunities in the Bermuda Night last time. After that they cultivated hard and advanced. Could it be a foundation establishment opportunity? This time, not only Sister Li, but also many male teammates hold their breath. Some of them know about the Night of Bermuda, but it is the first time that when Guanjing confirms the fact that he can lay foundation. Junior Marshal Sister Li said in surprise, a fated chance for foundation building. Senior Marshal Brother One, could it be? Lin Luoran is also interested. Don't they say that she is only one step away from the completion of the level of training Qi? Does it mean that she has chosen the best time to come here? When Guanjing is also looking at her. Seeing that she is more interested than before, when Guanjing smiles and says, Sister Li is right. The opportunity to lay foundation is naturally the foundation-laying bolus. Foundation-building pill. Junior Marshal Sister Li covers her mouth, but she can't hide the joy in her eyes. Lin Luoran is a bit disappointed. She thought that the so-called fated chance is some kind of spell, but it turns out that it is the foundation-laying bolus. Why are these people so excited? Isn't foundation-laying bolus a common thing in novels? Is it difficult to make foundation-laying bolus? Lin Luoran frowns. She is counting on growing herbs in the space, so that she can make bolus in the future. Everyone looks at her as if she is an idiot. When Guanjing coughs and says, Sister Lin, since the Reiki in the world became restless, many spirit herbs have been destroyed. Besides, the formula of foundation-laying bolus has been lost. It is impossible to make foundation-laying bolus now. In the world of cultivation, strength is the most important thing. Except for those who are related by blood or in the same school. Seniority is determined by the growth of strength. When Guanjing calls Lin Luoran's sister, which is another reason why everyone dares not to approach Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is not used to it, but she insists, Brother Wen, let's just call each other our own. What about the lost formula of foundation-laying bolus? This is another story in the world of cultivation. If you are interested, how about I tell you in private? Everyone's attention is on the secret land of Bermuda. Lin Luoran is sensible enough. Since when Guanjing doesn't intend to hide it from her, it doesn't matter if she tells him earlier or later. However, when Guanjing insists on calling her sister, he is so stubborn. If she can find the formula of foundation-laying bolus, Lin Luoran won't be so worried about the foundation-laying bolus that when Guanjing talks about. Brother Wen, since there is a chance to get foundation-laying bolus in the secret land, why don't more people from our department go there? Lin Luoran has noticed that although when Guanjing said that this is a very important mission, only young cultivators from the world of cultivation from the state of Wuxia come. Including her, there are only 10 people. Obviously there is a reason. When Guanjing smiles bitterly, The secret land is very strange. Only cultivators in the level of training Qi can enter. There are not only foundation-laying bolas for cultivators from the state of Wuxia, but also secret medicines for foreign cultivators. After years of negotiation, only 10 people from the state of Wuxia are allowed to enter the secret land. Sister Li covers her mouth and smiles. Then there is no other way. We have to go in and get 2 more boluses. When Guanjing turns off the projector, Sister Li, Reiki in the secret land is a world of its own. In addition to elixirs and spirit herbs, there are also many monsters that can only be killed by a group of people. Otherwise, the secret land wouldn't attract so many people. However, the most dangerous thing is not the monsters, but the cultivators who are not of our own kind. Last time when the secret land was open, 25 cultivators in the level of training Qi from the state of Wuxia entered the secret land, but only 5 came out alive. Before that, the 8-nation coalition army invaded the state of Wuxia. You know how those cultivators died? Lin Luoran is thinking. According to Wen Guanjing, all the cultivators who died of monsters were killed by foreign cultivators? Why does it sound so strange? Lin Luoran lowers her head to hide her emotions. The situation inside depends on the mouth of the people who come out. Those who want to kill people because of treasures may not be foreign cultivators. It seems that she has to be careful. But wait, what did Wen Guanjing say just now? Only cultivators in the level of training Qi can enter the secret land. Was he lying to her when he said that he would ask her master for help? Chapter 91. The moonlight shines on the surface of the sea. The waves are moving up and down, making the water sparkling. A big white cruise ship stops in the middle of the sea. The ship looks hazy and magnificent under the moonlight. In the dim moonlight, Lin can see that there are more than 100 people standing on the deck. The difference in skin color and hair indicates that they are from different countries and places. It's past 1 o'clock in the morning, but the people on the deck are not sleepy at all. They are all quietly staring at the slightly calm sea. To be honest, it's hard to tell that the sea area within 100 miles belongs to the Bermuda Delta, just by looking at the situation. Lin Luoran is standing behind Wen Guanjing. Li Xier whispers, "Sister Lin, look at the atmosphere. It's like a horror movie." She pouts and moves closer to Lin Luoran. Hearing this, Lin Luoran is speechless. It has only been 1 day and Li Xier has been following Lin Luoran all day long, calling her Sister Lin, and asking her all kinds of questions. She is very interested in everything about Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is speechless that Li Xier can say something like this in such a serious atmosphere. However, as a Huaxia woman, Lin shakes her head and reminds Li to wait patiently. Seeing that some people are looking at them, Li Xier is a little embarrassed. She sticks out her tongue and finally calms down. Lin Luoran doesn't find it hard to wait. She is very patient in front of such a big event. Except for the fact that Crystal is staring at Lin Luoran from afar, which makes Lin Luoran feel very uncomfortable. Otherwise, it is a rare experience to feel the sea breeze in the night. Especially in the vast sea, there is a huge amount of water Reiki that is incomparable to anywhere else. Li Xier also calms down. Lin Luoran can finally calm down and absorb Reiki. It is like putting the bead into a pot of boiling oil. Instead of absorbing Reiki crazily, the bead melts itself into the oil and absorbs the water Reiki quietly. Lin Luoran has the potential to make a fortune by robbing others. The bead is the oriole while Lin Luoran is the mantis. The restless water Reiki is like a pot of boiling oil. The bead works hard to convert the Reiki from the middle tower bridge. Most of the Reiki in the bead benefits itself and the plants in the space. Lin Luoran can absorb a little bit of the Reiki, which is more than enough for her. The strange thing is that when Lin Luoran was practicing the fireball spell, the Reiki inside her changed. The chaotic Reiki was separated from the fire Reiki. Later, she practiced according to the spells of the 5 elements taught by Grandpa Gua. It was very easy for her to learn spells. Her chaotic Reiki can also cast spells of the other 4 natures. And the Reiki inside her body is no longer separated. Lin Luoran is not sure whether this is a good thing or not. She decides to think about the difference after the incident in the secret land of Bermuda is over. The abundant Reiki here makes Lin Luoran feel so comfortable that she wants to stretch and yawn. While everyone is waiting, Lin Luoran is seizing the time to cultivate. She is getting better and better. After a long time, she feels someone is pushing her. Lin Luoran opens her eyes and sees Li Shi. Senior sister Lin, look. This time Li Shi is not bothering Lin Luoran because she is bored. At this time, the moon is about to rise to the highest point in the sky. White fog rises on the calm sea and the waves are rolling. The huge cruise ship is like a small boat, rising and falling with the tide. It's almost time. When Guanjing, who is standing in front of Lin Luoran, takes out a brocade box the size of a palm and looks solemn. When Guanjing is not the only one who does the same thing. Almost every country here has a representative who takes out the same brocade box. They all look serious. At this moment, they have to sit down and talk about their own affairs. It feels like a world summit. The white fog on the sea is getting thicker and thicker. The moon finally rises to the highest point in the sky. One Guanjing takes the lead, and the others open the brocade boxes one by one. When the moonlight shines down, small balls of light rise from the boxes. Lin Luoran looks at them and finds that these balls of light are jade pieces of the same size. The jade pieces rise slowly and fly to the sky above the sea. The 12 jade pieces are flying up and down as if they are looking for something. The cruise ship starts again and follows the direction of the jade pieces carefully. After another 2 miles, the jade pieces slow down and begin to spin slowly above the sea. The automatic navigation function of the jade pieces makes people who see this scene for the first time unable to take their eyes off it. When the jade pieces finally stop, everyone holds their breath and looks at the scene in front of them. The sea under the jade pieces seems to be lit up. 12 red and white beams of light rise up one by one. If the sea is not covered by the thick fog, it will definitely attract the attention of the ships in the distance. According to common sense, the pillar of light should have no force, but at this moment, it was supporting 12 pieces of jade, allowing them to float in midair above the sea surface, slowly swimming along a predetermined path. When Guanjing knows a lot about the secret land, but he has never seen the magnificent scene when it opens. In this era when spells are declining, how can people not be fascinated by such a magnificent scene? Li Shi can't help but pull Lin's sleeve. The 12 light beams are getting brighter and brighter. The white fog can block the light beams but not the moonlight. It is common sense that the moon is bright and the stars are sparse. Tonight, the moon is round and bright, and the stars are all over the sky. As the light beams move, some stars in the distant sky finally react and shoot light at the 12 light beams. Lin Luoran can see all this clearly with her clear eyes. The secret land opens once every 100 years. Is it taking advantage of the celestial phenomenon that only happens once in 100 years? Or is it taking advantage of the power of stars? What happens next is too much for Lin to think. The light beams receive the power of moonlight and stars. The jade pieces shoot straight light beams at each other and intertwine with each other. A special big net is formed between the light beams. Gradually, the net becomes a big disc with a radius of about 100 square meters. At first, it shakes a few times, but as time goes by, it stabilizes quickly. Is this an altar? A portal? Both of them are very reliable. Li Shi holds Lin's sleeve tightly. Her eyes are shining like a little girl seeing a piece of jewelry. Lin Luoran, on the other hand, looks at the 12 jade pieces thoughtfully. Seeing that the platform is formed, when Guanjing breathes a sigh of relief, he looks at the representatives of other countries, and they all wave their hands. The jade pieces on the light beam fly back to them, when Guanjing treasures them so much that he locks them in the small brocade box and puts them away in a blink of an eye. Even Lin Luoran can't see where he has hidden them. Let's go. We can go up now. Chapter 92. When Guanjing says that they can get on the platform, but the cruise ship is not connected to the platform. Maybe for some reason, the cruise ship can't get too close to the platform. There is a distance of 400 to 500 meters between the cruise ship and the platform. How can they get on the platform without a place to land? This may be the first time for them to show their strength. The advantage of the tall and strong Russian team was in close combat. This kind of harsh lightness, kung fu was simply a sore spot for them. Very shamefully, they threw a few large wooden boards on the water as a springboard. They only jumped up one by one when they reached the high platform, causing a lot of people to snicker. The Japanese who were wearing wooden clogs had also learned some chi cultivation techniques. Using the strange spells that they had modified, the process of getting onto the stage was relatively smooth. However, one of them was obviously not good enough, and almost fell into the sea. As for the people from the Vatican, their bodies seemed to have received some kind of blessing as they chanted. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, divine light descended from the heavens and bathed in the light. However, the action of a person who looked like a red-robed archbishop wiping his sweat on the high platform told the crowd that the priests were not as relaxed as they seemed. The countries are still doing their best. After a while, there are only the cultivators of the state of Wuxia and Crystal's team left on the deck. Although the Tao of nature is in chaos and cultivators from other countries are affected, they are not as direct as the cultivators of the state of Wuxia. The source of their cultivation is not limited to Reiki. If it weren't for the unpredictable spells, the cultivation world of the state of Wuxia wouldn't be able to maintain its current scale. They don't know what dangers are waiting for them in the secret land, but now is not the time to waste Reiki. They don't care about their own reputation, but they are representing the entire state of Wuxia. One Guanjing takes out a small sword with gold tassels and murmurs. As he injects Reiki into it, the small sword expands and becomes a huge sword floating in the air. One Guanjing jumps on the sword first, and the male cultivators of the state of Wuxia follow him. They stand on the huge sword. If everyone steps on the sword, they will look like flying swordsmen. However, at this moment, they look like buses with passengers. Lin Luoran tries not to laugh. She looks at the two seats that Wen Guanjing left for Lin Luoran and Li. Although everyone was squeezed on the same sword, this kind of flying method still made those foreign cultivators, who had to rely on their own strength, very envious. They couldn't help but cast envious gazes at the mysterious and unfathomable Wuxia magic. Seeing Li looking at her pitifully, Lin Luoran knows that Li is right. She doesn't want to take the bus. Lin Luoran sighs and makes a gesture with her right hand. The water Reiki around her gathers and she shouts, "The spell is over." A water column rises from the sea and builds a water bridge between the tanker and the platform. Wow! Sister Lin, you are so awesome. Li Shi's eyes almost turned into stars. Actually, even without her scream, everyone's eyes had already turned to look at them. The bridge is about 400 meters long, and it is made of seawater. Under the light of the platform, the bridge is shining blue. Lin Luoran's move is gorgeous and magnificent. If she were a man, she would definitely be able to pick up girls with this move. When Guanjing knows that Lin Luoran is not a showy person, there is only one reason why Lin Luoran is attracting people's attention. This girl is not to be messed with. When Guanjing knows that Lin Luoran is not a person who likes to show off. He sighs in his heart and feels tired hanging in the air. He makes a spell of sword and drives his bus to the platform. "Why don't you go?" Lin Luoran asks and walks straight to the water bridge. Although she said she was walking, it was more like she was floating. The light and dignified feeling of her sleeves fluttering in the wind caused everyone present to hold their breaths, not daring to act rashly. Li Shi doesn't come to herself until Lin Luoran is halfway across the bridge. She catches up with Lin Luoran and sticks close to her carefully, as if she is afraid that the bridge will collapse. Crystal looks at Lin Luoran, who looks like a fairy under the moonlight. Dana gloats. This is the first time Lin Luoran has seen a female cultivator from the state of Wuxia. Lin Luoran is so powerful that Crystal can't touch her easily. Dana is glad that Lin Luoran can knock down the arrogant Crystal. Seeing that Lin Luoran and Li Shi are safe and sound, Crystal says to Dana, "In the state of Wuxia, take advantage of the east wind. Let's try this beautiful bridge." Lin Luoran is the leader of this trip, so the others agree. Dana has no choice but to follow Lin Luoran. Crystal's words have been passed to the platform by the sea breeze. Lin Luoran remains calm and waits for them to stand in front of the bridge. Lin Luoran casts a spell with her right hand, and the magnificent water bridge disappears instantly. The water goes back to where it came from like a heavy rain. Crystal is so close to the bridge that her long hair is covered with water vapor. She looks so gloomy that even Dana has to walk around her quietly. From this direction, Lin Luoran and Li Shi are whispering in each other's ears. Nothing is wrong. However, Crystal is still emitting cold air. Dana says cautiously, "Let's go, or the platform will be closed." Crystal nods and jumps off the deck of the tanker. When people on the platform think that she is going to fall into the sea, she glides on the water for a while like a big bird, and then flies up again. She opens her arms and jumps onto the platform like a bat. She is standing far away from Lin Luoran, and not in the same direction as the people of the Vatican. Lin Luoran doesn't like the look in Crystal's eyes. Besides, Lin Luoran is disgusted by the smell of blood on the people of the Vatican. Therefore, Lin Luoran has made it clear that she doesn't want to mess with them. She also hopes that they won't treat her as a pushover. Otherwise, Lin Luoran would never do such a humiliating thing in public. Li Shi'er says in a low voice, "Sister Lin, I don't like her either." Lin Luoran notices that Crystal is standing on the other side of the platform. Lin Luoran knows that Crystal can hear Li Shi'er's whisper. Lin Luoran tells Li Shi'er to stop talking about it. The people with her also used the same bat-like gliding posture to cross the sea. In terms of speed, they were actually the fastest team. They are very fast. Lin Luoran comments in her heart, and reminds herself to stay away from them again. If they use this speed to attack her, she will have an advantage in close range. A transparent light dome rises from the edge of the platform, and covers everyone on the platform. Lin Luoran suddenly has an absurd idea. This thing looks like an elevator, doesn't it? With a rumbling sound, the covered platform seems to be activated. The unknown is always full of uncertainty. Li Shi'er grabs Lin Luoran's cuff tightly. When Guanjing takes 2 steps forward, he doesn't seem to be looking sideways, but he says in a low voice, "The bloodline holds grudges. Be careful when you get in." The bloodline? Lin Luoran is not surprised. Maybe she has guessed it. She just doesn't want to admit it. Ever since she stepped on the path of cultivation, this normal world is destined to be a legend. Chapter 93. Lin Luoran thought that the platform was a transmission door. After all, it made such a big noise when it was opened. It would be strange if it didn't send them directly into the so-called secret land. However, the truth is very close to her speculation. It seems to be an elevator. They disappear from the surface of the sea. When they reappear, they are under the sea. The transparent light shield separated them from the seawater, and they were falling down in a straight line at a uniform speed. Through the transparent light shield, they could see the blue seawater outside the light shield. Groups of fish were swimming around, and some silly fish hit the shield and bounced off. It was a beautiful sight, and it was hilarious. "It's so beautiful," Li murmurs to herself. This time, no one blames her for talking too much. No matter which camp they are on, everyone will appreciate beauty in their hearts. The wonder of the sea undoubtedly satisfies many people's aesthetic needs. The style of the secret land is very oriental. However, the design of the underwater elevator is so romantic that it doesn't seem to be the work of the strict oriental cultivators. Lin Luoran looks at the cultivators from different countries. She suspects that this is a place of trial built by many forces a long time ago. As for the secret land that Wen Guanjing talked about, it doesn't matter whether it is a masterpiece of powerful cultivators, or it is discovered by others. Lin Luoran thinks that it is not so important to know whether it is a masterpiece made by powerful cultivators, or discovered by others. Lin Luoran looks at the cultivators from different countries. The light shield gets lower and lower. At first, they can see groups of fish playing outside the shield. Gradually, there are only some big fish. Now there are only 2 or 3 big fish. Lin Luoran doesn't know how deep they have fallen. However, as the fish disappear, she can imagine that without the light shield, the huge sea pressure will crush them into meat paste. Lin Luoran is just making the conclusion that no living creatures can survive in such a deep sea. Suddenly, she sees a black shadow coming from the bottom of the sea. Everyone is alert. The shadow is huge and fast. Besides, the light shield is sinking, so it comes to the light shield in the blink of an eye. Two light balls as big as bowls are very conspicuous in the deep sea. Its body is also as big as a hill. People's eyesight will be affected by it. When the black shadow comes to 100 meters away, Lin Luoran can see what it really is. It is a turtle. Ah, it bumped into us. Li Shi covered her eyes in surprise. Although the people here all had some ability, they had only heard about the secret territory from their ancestors, and had never experienced it themselves. When they saw the obviously abnormal sea turtle crashing into them, they all broke out in a cold sweat. If the light shield broke, they were just a group of cultivators who had just entered the secret territory. Under the terrifying pressure of the sea, there was no way they could survive. Lin Luoran clenches her right hand. If the light dome really breaks, she will have to hide in the space immediately. As for Wen Guanjing and the others, maybe she has not mastered the space yet. Lin Luoran has tried, but she can't even bring a living thing into the space. She has to apologize to them. At this dangerous moment, the sea turtle suddenly braked to a stop. It had excellent control over its huge body, easily stopping 1 meter away from the light barrier. It seems to be thinking of the fish that bounced off the light dome. Lin Luoran wonders if the light dome is only visible from the inside. From the perspective of the sea turtle, the light dome looks the same as the surrounding seawater. The sea turtle is huge. Lin Luoran doesn't know how old it is. Aside from its huge eyes, Lin Luoran believes that it has a mind. Is it a monster? Even the bloodline has appeared, so it is not strange for a monster to show up. However, Brother Turtle, why are you staring at me? Lin Luoran subconsciously draws back her right hand. Lin Luoran is just an ordinary human. The only thing different about her is the mysterious bead on her wrist. Lin Luoran hopes that the sea turtle doesn't come for this. Because of the giant turtle's hesitation, the light shield passed by it and quickly sank to a deeper place. The giant turtle stayed in place and didn't move. Whether it was because of the sea pressure that it didn't chase after them or not, it seemed to be relatively safe now. Even though it's a false alarm, everyone doesn't relax. Instead, they become alert from enjoying the scenery. Lin Luoran is even more shocked. She has very good eyesight. She feels that when the turtle passed by the light dome, the turtle's eyes are very human-like. There are emotions like reluctance and pity in its eyes. This kind of farewell has troubled Lin Luoran for a long time. Let's not talk about it for the time being. The light dome continues to fall, and the bottom of the sea gets darker and darker. No one knows how deep it is. Gradually, only the transparent light dome can be seen, and the whole bottom of the sea is completely dark. Fortunately, after a shake, the light dome seems to fall to the ground. A burst of dazzling light flashes, so dazzling that people can't help but close their eyes. When Lin Luoran and others open their eyes again, in front of them is a long tunnel built on the bottom of the sea. Different from the transparent and empty light dome elevator, this tunnel has no end. An unknown material is used to support this tunnel, which is as high as 2 people. At the bottom of the sea, it can withstand the pressure of 10,000 meters of water, and there are all kinds of flowers on both sides of the tunnel. In short, this is a road of flowers. On the top of the tunnel, there is a kind of glowing stone inlaid every few steps. If it were not for the irregular shape, Lin Luoran would think that it is the legendary luminous pearl. More importantly, the flowers on the side of the road are full of vitality and blooming. Well, even if there is nutritious sea mud under the bluestone tunnel, what about sunlight? Have plants evolved to the point where they don't need light anymore? The more Lin Luoran sees the means of cultivators, the more she feels that she is too cautious. She doesn't have a great imagination. However, this style is very luxurious and gorgeous. Maybe the designer of this section is a woman? Obviously, the leaders of the countries know more about this than others. They are all happy to see this flower path. They don't want to miss such a beautiful view, but they lead their people forward. The cultivators of the state of Wuxia are also in an uproar. When Guanjing follows them leisurely, a more reckless male cultivator says anxiously, "Brother Wen, the secret land only opens for a month. Shouldn't we hurry?" Li Shi purses her lips. "I have a plan. Don't worry. The opening time of the secret land has been discussed in the meeting in the hotel. No one knows when the secret land opened. It opens every 100 years and lasts for a month. If they don't come out after this time, they will encounter the monster tide. With the level of training Qi, they will have no chance to survive. Lin Luoran got this information from the jade slips left by the masters in the level of training Qi who died in the secret land. There are many doubtful points in the information, so Lin Luoran pays attention to it and doesn't show it. However, Lin Luoran is worried about this trip to the secret land. As the saying goes, don't be afraid of a tiger-like enemy, but be afraid of a pig-like teammate. Except for Wen Guanjing, who seems to have experienced many battles. What are the others doing here? Lin Luoran is thinking about whether she should tell them that she wants to be a lone ranger in the secret land. When the others are almost gone, Wen Guanjing takes out a palm-sized bag made of gold thread and hands it to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran looks at the bag for a while and can't figure it out. Wen Guanjing doesn't usually smile, but he does smile this time. The secret land is vast, and it's easy for us to get separated in an emergency. There is not only enough food for a month in this universal bag, but also a jade pendant that allows us to sense each other. Sense each other? This is not the point. The point is, what is this thing called? Universal bag? Is this the legendary storage bag? Lin Luoran has space, but she can't have too many good things, right? Lin Luoran thanks Wen Guanjing and takes the so-called universal bag from him. She can't help but look at it. Since the new list was updated on Friday night, the number of favorites has increased by 120. As a book with a female theme, but didn't expect this result. Thank you so much for your support. Chapter 94. The flower path looks long, but in fact, it is just a visual difference. With Li's chattering, it is not boring to walk along the path. Lin Luoran drips a drop of blood on it according to the spell taught by Wen Guanjing, and imprints it with her spiritual mind. Although she doesn't have much time to refine it, people with the same level as Lin Luoran can't open it. Lin Luoran is disappointed after she opens it. The famous universal bag has only 1 cubic meter of space, and most of it is occupied by high-energy compressed food. In another corner, there is a jade slip. Just like taking out the things in the bead, Lin Luoran controls it with her spiritual mind. She takes out the jade slip, and the next moment, it appears in her hand. There are 10 light spots on the jade slip, which are very close to each other. Lin Luoran looks up at Wen Guanjing, who nods to her. Sister Lin, this is the jade slip that can help us sense each other. As long as we are within a certain range, we can find each other. There is some information on the jade slip about the places where the ancestors found treasures. Maybe the spirit herbs were not mature enough, or they didn't have enough time to take them away. This time, we can check them one by one. Seeing that Lin Luoran is listening carefully, Wen Guanjing adds, the monsters are dormant this month, but we'd better not take them to the center of the mountain. It's dangerous, and it's hard for us to come back. Lin Luoran nods. Time flies when they are talking. When Lin Luoran raises her head, they are already in front of a golden gate. She puts the jade slip away. The golden gate is just a few towering pillars. You have to look up to see the horizontal stone plaque. There are some tadpole-like characters on the plaque. It is impossible to guess what is written on the plaque. Lin Luoran and the other Chinese cultivators are nowhere to be seen. Obviously, the others have already entered the gate. There is a light curtain between the pillars, so people can't see what is behind the gate. Let's go. Wen Guanjing is about to say that they should hold each other's hands, but Li is very excited. She drags Lin Luoran through the light curtain first. Wen Guanjing can't hold Li's hand. He turns around and asks the others, didn't I tell you that we will end up in different places after going through the light curtain? Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads like a rattledrum. Before Lin Luoran realizes what is going on, she is pulled into the light curtain by Li Shir. As soon as she steps into the light curtain, she feels that she is falling. The wind blows her hair upside down. Lin Luoran subconsciously grabs Li Shi, in front of her, and tries to open her eyes against the resistance of the wind. Only then does she realize that they are falling. Beneath them was a bottomless cliff that was shrouded in clouds and mist. Li Xi'er finds it too. She screams, "Sister, help!" Ah! Lin Luoran, her senior sister, is in her hands. Lin Luoran has no time to save her. Lin Luoran knows that she must stay calm at this moment. Otherwise, they will die before they succeed. The treasures in the secret land are still outside. If they fall into the bottomless abyss, they will definitely become minced meat. However, the abyss is bottomless and the cliffs on both sides are bare. Lin Luoran can't find a foothold. She wants to cast a spell, but Li grabs her hand tightly. What kind of spell can solve this problem? Fireball was completely useless. A waterbed. This is not a place with water. Lin Luoran's personal ability is not enough to support such a powerful spell. The Earth School is also not enough. They are in the air. The Gold School is good at attacking, but the Wood School. There is not even a blade of grass on the cliff. Seeing that they are falling deeper and deeper, Li Xi'er's screams turn into sobs. Lin Luoran tries to open her eyes in the strong wind, hoping to find a chance of survival. In fact, it is better for her to hide in the bead. However, at the last moment, Lin Luoran's conscience forbids her to leave Li Xi'er, who has been calling her Sister Lin. This big-eyed girl in an ancient costume has just started her cultivation in life. Lin Luoran's efforts finally pay off when she is falling. There is a protruding terrace on the looming cliff 100 meters below her. What's more, there is a mountain vine. Without thinking, Lin Luoran casts a spell with her left hand. Green light gathers on her fingertips. Bind. Go. The green light goes into the root of the vine and changes quickly. When Lin Luoran and Li Xi'er are passing by the cliff, the vine stretches out and tries to entangle them. Damn it, the vine is too thin to hold them. Lin Luoran makes a quick decision. She pulls Li Xi'er and sends her to the place where the vine comes from. With the help of the bind spell, the vine wraps Li Xi'er up like a rice dumpling. Lin Luoran pushes Li Xi'er onto the protruding stone. After that, she fell even faster, and soon, she disappeared in the deep abyss surrounded by clouds and mist. Li Xi'er is wrapped up like a rice dumpling by Lin Luoran's bind spell. Lin Luoran then pushes Li Xi'er onto the stone platform. Li Xi'er is totally dizzy from the fall. It takes her a while to realize that she is the only one on the terrace, and Lin Luoran is nowhere to be seen. Sister Lin. Li Xi'er's eyes are full of tears. Her cheeks are as red as a big peach. The way she is tied up makes her look like a rice dumpling with red skin and peach filling. After crying for a while, Li Xi'er realizes that she has to untie herself first. She has never learned any external kung fu, so her physical strength is actually weaker than that of a master of external kung fu. Without the power of spells and artifacts, Li Xi'er is just a helpless little girl. Li Xi'er finally remembers the universal sack hanging around her neck. She murmurs something, and the universal sack shimmers. A white object appears beside Li Xi'er's hand. It turns out to be a transparent fish thread-like object with a bell at the end. Li Xi'er wonders what kind of artifact it is. How can it help Li Xi'er get rid of the rope? Li Xi'er bites her lips and moves her fingers. The fishing line stretches out and passes through the gap between the vine and Lin Luoran's body. Li Xi'er closes her fingers and the fishing line tightens automatically. The fishing line is very thin. No matter how strong the vine is, it is still a plant. The twisting force of the fishing line can break the vine. Li Xi'er struggles for a while and finally gets rid of the vine. Li Xi'er kisses the fishing line. She is about to laugh when she remembers that Lin Luoran fell into the abyss to save her. Li Xi'er grabs the fishing line and cries again. It's all my fault. If I had remembered the bell earlier, you wouldn't have fallen. Maybe Little Bell is the name of the fishing line. Li Xi'er carefully moves to the terrace to check. After taking a few steps, a few pebbles roll down the cliff. There is no sound for a long time. Li Xi'er knows that she is still far from the bottom of the cliff. Is Sister Lin really okay? In Li Xi'er's mind, Wen Guanjing is very powerful, so Lin Luoran, who is called Sister Lin by Wen Guanjing, must be even more powerful. However, when you look down the deep abyss, you can only see clouds and mist. You have no idea whether Lin Luoran is alive or not. At this moment, Li Xier is in such a terrible situation that she can't even touch the sky or the ground. She curls up in the corner, holding her knees and crying her eyes out. Chapter 95. After pushing Li onto the stone terrace, Lin Luoran falls down like a kite with a broken string. Maybe Lin Luoran has run out of luck today, and she hasn't seen another terrace with such a good position. That is to say, she can't replicate the way she saved Li. It was also the first time for her to see such a scene. It would be a lie to say that she was not flustered. She watched as time went by. While falling, she also cast water spells. The water Reiki in the abyss was barely enough to condense into a water rope, but there was no place to climb between the cliffs. She was really not worried. It's not that she doesn't want to hide in the bead. If she hides in the bead, she will be fine. However, the bead itself will fall into the abyss. The space inside will be shaken. If she falls into the abyss, she will find that the bottom of the abyss is in the shape of a cup, and there is no way out. She will be trapped in such a high abyss. To say the least, if she is lucky enough to get out, it will take her about a month. Her trip to Bermuda will be in vain. Lin Luoran has to get something out of this adventure and go back to see her parents. While falling, Lin Luoran uses her mind and disappears in the air. The bead falls down. When Lin Luoran shows up again, she is holding the double-headed phoenix hairpin in her hand, which is shining with a faint blue luster. Different from the phoenix hairpin's usual quietness, the hairpin seems to know that it can finally be used. It can't help bouncing slightly in Lin Luoran's hand. Lin Luoran has already tried its power. She mobilizes her Reiki and slowly injects it into the phoenix hairpin. Of course, the fire Reiki won't listen to Lin Luoran. The phoenix hairpin is like the water Reiki, so it is repelled by the fire Reiki. The double-headed phoenix is divided into two parts. Lin Luoran doesn't stop the input of Reiki. Instead, she draws out half of her Reiki and injects it into the two phoenix hairpins. The two phoenix hairpins suddenly expanded and turned into two thin blue swords that emitted a cold light. When they finally took shape, there were even two phantoms of phoenixes lingering around the swords. When the two phoenixes intertwined, they let out a clear and melodious phoenix cry. Lin Luoran is delighted. She slaps in the opposite direction and bumps into the cliff on one side. Holding a sword in each hand, Lin Luoran uses her right hand to stab one of the swords into the cliff. The sword is so sharp that the mountain wall is as vulnerable as tofu in front of it. With a puff sound, the sword almost penetrates into the mountain wall. Only the hilt with the carved phoenix head is left in Lin's hand. Of course, Lin Luoran's body falls on the mountain wall. Lin Luoran has probably experienced all the sufferings Li Xier has suffered. Lin Luoran is dizzy from the fall. Lin Luoran is about to rejoice when she sees that this method is feasible. However, the phoenix sword is so sharp that it cuts stones like tofu under the infusion of Reiki. Lin Luoran, a living person, is even more powerful. The phoenix sword cuts all the way down. However, the speed is much slower than when Lin Luoran is falling. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. She can choose to pull the swords out by stepping on the ground, but she will still fall into the air, which is no different from before. Well, there are two swords anyway. She can also change hands, right? Lin Luoran comforts herself with the spirit of Aku. She changes her hands every now and then. The debris of the rocks splashes all over her face, and her dress is also worn. Needless to say, her body is inevitably bruised. After a long time, Lin Luoran feels that she has almost used up all the Reiki in her body. If it weren't for the abundant Reiki in the secret land and the bead, Lin Luoran would have run out of Reiki. Even at this speed, Lin Luoran can't bear it. She suddenly remembers that she is holding two swords. No wonder. Lin Luoran hurriedly puts one of the swords back into the space and focuses on the other one. She can handle it for a while. Lin Luoran keeps her mouth shut. She feels that the dust goes straight into her nose and ears, and she can't open her eyes. She can't bear it anymore. She is about to take the risk to hide in the bead when she feels something soft under her feet. With a muffled sound, Lin Luoran falls on the ground. Lin Luoran wipes the dust off her face and reveals her eyes. She sees that the place she is lying on is a soft and thick meadow. She feels tired and doesn't even bother to pull the swords out. Lying on the meadow, she feels sore all over. Especially her arms. They are so painful that she can't even lift them up. It's so tiring here. I really want to take a nap. Lin thinks to herself. However, after a while she struggles to get up. She remembers clearly that when Guanjing said that this place is dangerous. She can't treat this place as a paradise. Her body is ragged and bruised. Reiki inside her body is exhausted. Well, she can't even cast a simple cleaning spell. Lin Luoran is speechless. She has some spare clothes in the space, but she can't take a bath in the spring in the space, can she? She has to drink the water. She can't do it. Anyway, the protagonists in the novels have magical springs. They raise fish and shrimps in the springs to make a fortune. They even drink the water to improve their health. How can they drink the water full of fish and shrimp's feces? It's so cold. Lin Luoran looks around. This is a misty valley. The plants are growing well. There should be water, right? Lin Luoran thinks for a while, and tries to pull out the phoenix sword. God knows what is in the valley. It's better to have a weapon than nothing. The valley is not big. Lin Luoran finishes walking around in an hour and minutes. Fortunately, there are birds and flowers here. There is a small spring in the southeast corner, which is about 10 feet wide. Several animals with horns like deer and horses are walking elegantly and drinking water from time to time. They are not flustered when Lin Luoran comes near. They are very docile. Unfortunately, this is not only a cup, but also a chemical beaker with a long neck and a big bottom. That is to say, the cliff is the wall of the cup, and the valley is the bottom of the cup. Lin Luoran can't climb out of here unless she can fly up. Since there is no way out, Lin Luoran can see the bottom of the spring. There are no large animals in the valley. The rabbits and horses don't seem to be dangerous. Lin Luoran is dirty. Looking at the spring, she feels itchy. She uses up her Reiki, but her spiritual mind is still there. She takes out a spare dress from the space and jumps into the water. The horses are scared and run away. The spring is very cold. It is like ice compress on Lin Luoran's abrasions. Even the wounds don't hurt so much. Lin Luoran buries her face in the water. She feels so comfortable that she doesn't want to raise her head. How many years have passed? How can a woman's dress be like this? It's so offensive. Chapter 96. Lin Luoran's hand under the water clenches the phoenix sword. Her wet hair drips water on her face and into her eyes, which makes her very uncomfortable. However, she still tries to open her eyes wide and stare at the floating figure above. Speaking of which, the figure on the auspicious cloud doesn't look like a human at all. It is a slender woman in a bright yellow palace dress with her hair in a bun. Different from Li Xi'er, who likes to wear tang clothes, this palace dress is elegant and dignified. With a colorful and fragrant peony in her hair, she is graceful and gorgeous. If Li Xi'er is a painting of a beautiful woman in meticulous brushwork, this woman is a beauty in ancient costume, who has just come out of the painting after being sealed for many years. She has a kind of frozen beauty that stays in the past time and space. Who are you? Not everyone who is good-looking is a good person, and not everyone who can step on auspicious clouds is a fairy. Lin Luoran is not so naive as to turn into a naive girl and bow to such a beauty. Lin Luoran doesn't let her guard down at all. You are just a cultivator in the level of training qi. How dare you be so rude in front of me? Didn't your master teach you manners? The woman in the palace dress looks angry. It seems that she is very angry at Lin Luoran's disrespectful behavior. Lin Luoran ignores her. She has been at the bottom of the valley for a while, but the woman doesn't come out earlier. Instead, she comes out when Lin is taking a bath. If she is a man, Lin Luoran will be in trouble. Fairy, the woman smiles. That's right. Everyone in the cultivation world knew me, White Fairy. Which school are you from? How dare you come into the secret land with such a low level of cultivation? What level of cultivation does she have to stay in the space by stepping on the cloud? Didn't Wen Guanjing say that only cultivators in the level of training qi could enter the secret land? Then what about the woman in front of her? Lin Luoran finally knows what is wrong with Wen Guanjing's explanation. He said that there are foundation-laying boluses that can help people advance. However, If all the cultivators who came in were in the level of training Qi, where did they get so many foundation-laying boluses? However, Lin Luoran doesn't doubt that she has to go out in a month. After all, the Reiki here is peaceful and pure. It may be the last pure land on the earth for cultivation. If Master Gua could stay here for a long time, he wouldn't have asked her for Reiki Jade. He could have just come here to cultivate. Just what kind of variable had occurred? How did this woman manage to stay here? Lin Luoran blinks. The former world of cultivation? Fairy, how many years have you been here? Have you ever gone out? In fact, Lin Luoran wants to say, Fairy, if you have something to say, can you let me get dressed first? However, there is a huge gap between them, and Lin Luoran doesn't dare to be rash. It seems that this fairy has a bad temper. The fairy seems to be too lazy to answer Lin Luoran's question. She says coldly, Junior, put on your clothes first. Fairy, you are so considerate. Lin Luoran wants to put the sword in the space, but she is not sure how high the personal ability of the white fairy in front of her is, and whether she can see through the secret of the sacred bead. Lin Luoran is just a duckweed in personal ability cultivation. The special department only comes for benefits. Master Mu and others are also kind to her at this time. After all, the sacred bead is the root of Lin Luoran's life. She must hold it tight. Of course, the white fairy can't peep at her. Lin Luoran manages to mobilize a trace of Reiki and casts the simplest water curtain. No matter whether it works in front of the white fairy or not, it is a kind of comfort for Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran quickly puts on a long dress. Obviously, she can't wear high heels in this kind of place. She feels lucky that she has even found flat shoes earlier. In less than a minute, she has put on the dress. Her wet hair and the water drops all over her body can be dried with the water absorption spell. Cultivation is really convenient for herself. As for the phoenix sword, it is easy to cause a conflict if she holds a weapon in her hand. Lin Luoran turns it back into a single phoenix hairpin. She makes a loose bun and puts it in her hair. The white fairy turns around and looks at Lin Luoran. Although she is very beautiful, she has to admit that this junior in the level of training Qi is elegant and refined. When the white fairy sees the single phoenix hairpin in Lin Luoran's hair, she pauses for a moment. It seems that she doesn't stop at all, so Lin Luoran naturally doesn't notice it. Nice to meet you, fairy. Lin Luoran is being impolite. When Guanjing has saluted her before, but that is only between peers. Lin Luoran doesn't dare to imitate him. She just shows respect to Wen Guanjing. The white fairy doesn't say anything. Maybe it is because Lin Luoran sees Lin Luoran's respectful attitude. The white fairy disperses the magic cloud under her feet and lands on a slightly higher round stone. She is still looking down at Lin Luoran with a condescending feeling. Lin Luoran feels that her neck is itchy under the white fairy's gaze. The white fairy says, You haven't answered my previous question. Why do you dare to come to the Lost Land with your little personal ability? The Lost Land? Is this the name of the secret land in the world of cultivation? Lin Luoran thinks about it, but she still answers respectfully. Fairy, I am an individual cultivator. I am not under the control of a master. I came here with other cultivators. Lin Luoran knows about schools. In reality, Wen Guanjing is from the one family of Zhu Mountain, and there is another branch on Mount Qingcheng. However, Lin Luoran doesn't know who the white fairy is. If the white fairy happens to know about these two schools and asks Lin Luoran, she will feel that she has been deceived. God knows what will happen. Lin Luoran might as well say that she is an individual cultivator, and she doesn't know anything. An individual cultivator? The white fairy smiles. How can an individual cultivator inherit the Sword of Bright Snow? Does the white fairy know this sword? The Sword of Bright Snow is such a beautiful name. Is it a famous sword in the world of cultivation? Lin Luoran doubts whether she is so lucky that she can get a famous sword from a random place. Compared with this, she thinks that the white fairy is more likely to know this sword. Fairy, there is something you don't know. Nowadays, the world of cultivation is declining. Maybe the Sword of Bright Snow was accidentally lost, and I got it by chance. It is not because of inheritance. The white fairy doesn't believe it. How can this sword be lost? Is that person dead? The The white fairy murmurs and Lin Luoran is confused. However, the white fairy suddenly raises her head and says angrily, "Are you trying to fool me? Tell me, which generation of the Misty Peak are you?" Lin Luoran feels like someone has knocked her on the head. Misty Peak? Isn't it a place in a kung fu novel by Master Jean? If it weren't for the abundant Reiki here, Lin Luoran would have suspected that the white fairy in front of her is an actress hired by someone to read lines. Fairy, the world of cultivation is declining. Thousands of years ago, all cultivators above the level of gathering vitality disappeared together. I have never heard of the Misty Peak you mentioned. Lin Luoran adds silently. Maybe it doesn't count. Cultivators above the level of gathering vitality disappeared together? That person also disappeared. The white fairy is shocked. She lowers her head and seems to be thinking about something. Lin Luoran looks at the white fairy quietly. She always feels that the timing of the white fairy's appearance is too strange. Something must be wrong if things are abnormal. Now Lin Luoran finds that the white fairy is very beautiful. She always feels that the white fairy is going to drift away with the wind. She is so elegant that she doesn't look like a real person. Lin Luoran thinks about the words "not a real person" and suddenly realizes something. She looks at the white fairy's feet and finally knows what she has been ignoring. Before Lin Luoran takes action, the white fairy seems to have finished thinking. She suddenly raises her head and her beautiful face looks like a ferocious ghost. "Junior, if you lie to me, I will destroy your primordial spirit." Chapter 97. White Fairy's face freezes for a second. Then she becomes even angrier. "How dare you?" She raises her hand and pounces on Lin Luoran. Her slender wrist suddenly turns into a dark and ugly ghost's claw. The nails are like iron blades, shining with cold light. The ghost's claw is about to grab Lin Luoran. The Reiki here is abundant. It is good for Lin Luoran to recover. She is able to cast spells now. However, in front of the approaching ghost's claw, Lin Luoran is as calm as a mountain collapsing in front of her. No matter how strong the wind is, Lin Luoran stands firm like a pine tree and a bamboo. The sharp nails seem to have pierced into her cheeks. Lin Luoran shouts, "Fireball spell." White Fairy is shocked. She takes back the ghost's claw and returns to the big stone. She is as beautiful as a flower. However, she finds that Lin Luoran is just scolding without any fluctuation of fire Reiki. For a moment, White Fairy doesn't know whether to be angry or shocked. She is fooled by this young girl. "You," Lin Luoran claps her hands. She looks as if nothing has happened. However, she has made the right bet. She has really walked around the gate of hell. It is a lie to say that she is not nervous. "Fairy, it's just a small fireball. Yet you're so afraid. Could it be that your primordial spirit is so unstable?" Lin Luoran doesn't know why she has the courage to guess the situation of White Fairy just by guessing. White Fairy snorts, "Young girl, you don't need to care about my primordial spirit." Although her attitude is not good, she indirectly admits Lin Luoran's guess. Lin Luoran doesn't mind her attitude. Instead, she says in a good mood, "Senior, it is not good for either of us to be in a stalemate. Why don't we sit down and talk it out? Isn't that better for both of us?" The grass is soft. Lin Luoran sits down and makes a pleased gesture to White Fairy. White Fairy snorts and stands still on the round stone. After a while she can't help but ask, "How did you know?" Although her physical body has long been disintegrated, her primordial spirit is still in the realm of the past. She is trapped in this place and has been practicing illusions. She doesn't believe that this junior in the training chi stage can see through it. "How could you tell?" Lin Luoran doesn't answer the question directly. Instead she asks, "Fairy, were you also so polite to little cultivators in the level of training chi?" In the past, she wouldn't even look at a small chi condensation cultivator like him. White Fairy has been trapped in this secret land for a long time. When she suddenly sees a living person, she doesn't consider the difference in status in the world of personal ability. On second thought, she realizes her failure. She is too impatient? Seeing the look on White Fairy's face, Lin knows that she has figured it out. Speaking of the difference in seniority, Lin has to thank Wen Guanjing. If he didn't insist on calling her sister, Lin would have forgotten about this very suspicious point. Although there are kind seniors in the world of personal ability, White Fairy has a bad temper. How can she resist the temptation to capture her and ask her clearly? Instead, she keeps asking. Of course, White Fairy is not completely sure about capturing her. Even if you have doubts, I don't believe that you can see through my primordial spirit with your low level of personal ability. Well, Lin Luoran didn't think that way at first. She just felt that White Fairy doesn't look like a real person, but it is just her intuition. It has nothing to do with whether White Fairy can see through her illusions or not. What makes Lin Luoran sure is that White Fairy threatens to destroy her primordial spirit. Lin Luoran is a cultivator in the level of training Qi. How can she have a primordial spirit? White Fairy may say that out of anger, but Lin Luoran just wants to trick her. As for why she didn't run away when the ghost's claw was right in front of her, Lin Luoran believes that there must be something wrong. If White Fairy really wanted to kill Lin Luoran, she wouldn't need to use so many mysterious tricks. After hearing Lin Luoran's words, White Fairy stares at Lin Luoran for a long time. Lin Luoran feels embarrassed and says, "You are very calm. You are the most intelligent female cultivator I have ever seen in my life." Lin Luoran smiles. She knows herself well. She is not smart, but she is calmer than others in times of crisis, and has the courage to cut off all means of retreat. Seeing Lin Luoran smile, White Fairy adds, "Don't be so proud. If my primordial spirit were not incomplete, you wouldn't be so arrogant." Lin Luoran takes off the sword of bright snow from her head and says, "Fairy, I am not so talented. Maybe your identity has something to do with this sword?" White Fairy is in the form of primordial spirit, but the expression on her face is no different from that of a real person. Hearing Lin Luoran's words, she says with disdain, "I have revealed a lot of information in my words. It is not surprising that you can guess it." Lin Luoran touches the hairpin and says nothing. White Fairy can pretend that she doesn't know about the sword of bright snow, but she points it out to arouse Lin Luoran's curiosity. White Fairy doesn't know about the change of gathering vitality 1,000 years ago, which means that she has been in the Lost Land for at least 1,000 years. Taking into account the long life of a cultivator, White Fairy must be old enough to make such a stupid mistake. For a moment, Lin Luoran doesn't know whether she has seen through White Fairy, or she has fallen into White Fairy's trap. Seeing that Lin Luoran is lost in thought, White Fairy sneers, "You don't have to guess. Since I have come to you, I will certainly give you great benefits." Benefits? Lin Luoran never believes in free lunch. She is not interested in the benefits White Fairy is talking about. Most of the time, people lose not to others but to their own greed. Lin Luoran knows this. Seeing that Lin Luoran is not interested, White Fairy smiles instead. "Do you know how far it is from here to the exit? Do you think you can get out of here with your personal ability?" Lin Luoran looks up at the narrow entrance of the valley. She and Li seem to fall from the sky. They have never seen the top of the mountain. Judging by the time they fall and the distance, Lin Luoran knows that it is an unreachable height. With her current personal ability, even if she uses spells of the 5 elements, the cliff is smooth, and there is no place for her to recover Reiki. There is no hope for her to get out of here. Why does White Fairy say this? Lin Luoran looks at White Fairy. White Fairy looks up and points at the sky with her right hand. She says in a very tempting tone, "Do you want to step on the sword of bright snow and fly out of this abyss?" Fly on a sword? The first thing that comes to Lin Luoran's mind is the sword light of the Amei swordsman in the movie Zoo Mountain. Does White Fairy mean that she can also ride on a sword? White Fairy smiles like 100 blooming flowers. She looks at Lin Luoran quietly. It seems that she wants to see what choice this calm little female cultivator will make in the face of temptation. To the students who insist on voting black every day, how much do you love this book that you hate me? The author who wrote so poorly. Chapter 98. At this moment, Lin Luoran is not only tempted to fly on the sword, but also she needs to get out of the valley. Looking at the sword of bright snow in Lin Luoran's hand, White Fairy shows a trace of nostalgia. Then it disappears quickly. In her long life, she has done many tempting things like fighting. She has seen many talented cultivators, but none of them can resist the temptation of spells and spirit weapons. Therefore, White Fairy is confident. She is not anxious at all. In her mind, the one who is anxious should be the junior in the level of training Qi. White Fairy's smile is 30% amazing and 30% reserved. The remaining 60% is the arrogance of a former high-level cultivator. Lin Luoran thinks for a while and jumps up from the ground. She looks at White Fairy and says seriously, "Well, your suggestion is very tempting. I admit that I am tempted. In exchange, tell me what you want." White Fairy claps her hands. Lin Luoran doesn't know how she claps her hands. Maybe she uses the friction of the wind in the air. "My request is simple. Take me out of the valley." "Only out of the valley?" Lin Luoran frowns. The abyss is like a mountain for a junior cultivator in the level of training Qi. Does it also restrict a fairy without a body? Noticing Lin Luoran's hesitation, White Fairy points to the round stone under her feet and explains, "Many years ago, I was plotted against by scoundrels. My body and soul were almost destroyed. A strand of my remnant soul accidentally escaped to this valley. This soul stone gathered my remnant soul and helped me survive. However, I was trapped by it and couldn't step out of this valley." Speaking of this, White Fairy smiles sadly. "Even if I can get rid of the soul stone, without the protection of any external weapon, the wind that is everywhere in the abyss is strong enough to break my soul." Lin Luoran is silent for a while. She doesn't know how much of what White Fairy said is true. However, if what she said is true, it would be a tragedy for a remnant soul to stay here for thousands of years. Lin Luoran is silent for a while. "Fairy, may I ask you a question? If White Fairy didn't need this little female cultivator in the level of training Qi, she wouldn't have talked so much with Lin Luoran. Since she has said what she should and shouldn't, it is not a big deal to answer a few questions." She nods. Lin Luoran hesitates and asks, "What was your level of cultivation before you fell into the valley? What about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality 1,000 years ago?" White Fairy doesn't expect that Lin Luoran would ask this question. She pauses for a while. She hasn't thought about it for a long time. Speaking of which, it was the 3rd year of King Wu of Zhou. "Before I died, I never heard about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality. It must have happened after I died. It was the 3rd year of King Wu of Zhou." "Oh, you should have heard about King Wu of Zhou. Wu Mei'er of the Joy School went to the secular world to be a female emperor. She was a joke in the world of cultivation. As for why you are so sure that you never heard about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality, it is because I was in the later stage of gathering vitality, when I was plotted against in the secret land. If there was a migration, I would have heard about it. So I can't answer your question." "The later stage of gathering vitality?" Lin Luoran gasps. She underestimated White Fairy. Fortunately, she is only a remnant soul now, and she needs help from White Fairy. Otherwise, it is hard to say what will happen now. "Fairy, is it possible that only cultivators above the level of gathering vitality received the news?" Lin Luoran asks. She doesn't know why she is so concerned about the migration of the world of cultivation. Maybe those cultivators know that the Tao of nature has fallen, and foresee the decline of cultivation on the earth after 1,000 years, so they migrated to other places suitable for cultivation. Or maybe something happened, and they had to leave. However, Lin Luoran is sure that as she moves forward on the path of cultivation, the whereabouts of the cultivators will be very important to her. White Fairy laughs. "Cultivators above the level of gathering vitality. It has been 600 years since I entered the world of cultivation. I have never seen a cultivator above the level of gathering vitality and reach the level of divinization. It's said that once a cultivator reaches the soul formation stage, they will break through the void and ascend to the heavens, never to be in the mortal world again. But who knows where those soul formation stage cultivators, who are said to have broken through the void and ascended to the heavens went? Break through the void and ascend to heaven?" Lin Luoran clenches her fists. This is a realm that is far away from her. She should focus on the present first. "Fairy, shall we learn the sword riding spell first?" White Fairy looks at Lin up and down and nods slowly. "Now my primordial spirit is greatly damaged, so I can't see what kind of Taoist root you have. Since you can make some crappy water curtains, I guess your Taoist root contains the water element. It should be enough for you to fly out of the abyss with the sword of bright snow. White Fairy raises her hand and points at Lin at a speed that Lin Luoran can't dodge at all. A white light instantly disappears between Lin Luoran's eyebrows. Suddenly, an ancient text appears in her mind. Lin Luoran knows that this is the so-called sword-riding spell. Read it by yourself first. White Fairy says. Maybe she has consumed too much energy today, so she turns into a puff of smoke and disappears under the big round stone. Lin Luoran picks a dry grassland. She is afraid that the deers and horses that are not afraid of strangers, and the jumping rabbits will run into them. Lin Luoran leaves a part of her spiritual mind as a warning, and the rest of her mind is immersed in the ancient text. Swords are weapons. Pure gold and divine wood can be used as materials, and the earth fire can cast them. This is a general outline about swords. In other words, it talks about the levels of flying swords in the world of cultivation, the common materials used to make flying swords, and some simple ways to refine weapons. A short paragraph of text after that talks about the sword-riding spell, and how to activate and control the magic circle engraved on the sword of bright snow. In comparison, the general outline not only opens the door for Lin Luoran, but also gives her a more systematic understanding of the art of refining weapons. This is the most valuable part. Lin Luoran is like surfing in the ocean. She is like a whale sucking in water, absorbing the knowledge crazily. She doesn't want to miss any bit of it. The general outline is more than 10,000 words, and it is written in classical Chinese. However, Lin Luoran engraves it in her mind after repeated reading. The power of White Fairy's finger directly injects the text into her mind. Although it is very convenient and fast, it is not Lin Luoran's effort. Lin Luoran feels insecure. She feels that she can never forget it for the rest of her life, only if she remembers it. There is day and night in the secret land. Lin Luoran doesn't know how this secret land hidden at the bottom of the sea achieves the alternation of day and night. In short, it has its own set of rules. When Lin Luoran wakes up from meditation, she finds that the night has fallen. The valley is quiet except for the occasional chirping of insects, which brings a little vitality in the night. Lin Luoran opens her eyes and stares at the round stone with a complicated look. Several clumps of grass are stained with the night frost. They are crystal clear under the moonlight, which is very attractive. However, the round stone is silent. Where can she find the proud figure of White Fairy? Chapter 99. To master the art of sword raining, the first step is to have a good rapport with the flying sword. To put it more mysteriously, the sword has its own spirit. If you communicate with it more often, you will have a tacit understanding with it. Whether it's flying on the sword or fighting with it, you will be partners. After a long time, you will be able to control the sword. If you want to master the sword, you must put a spiritual mind seed into the sword and communicate with it often. You must nourish the sword with your own Reiki. In this process, you must strengthen your spiritual mind and make it fit with your mind. To put it simply, you must be able to command the sword when you need it. Moreover, it was clearly stated in the general principles that the magical equipment used by cultivators could be divided into 9 grades according to their materials, power, attributes, and so on. Of course, comprehensive combat power had to be taken into account, but there was a very clear threshold. Below the 5th grade, all magic treasures were already fixed. Above the 5th grade, it was due to the techniques and materials used. Magic treasures were full of plasticity and had the same room for growth as their masters. There are many delicate magic circles engraved inside the sword of bright snow. White Fairy also says that it is cast from the cold iron under the 1,000-year-old glacier. White Fairy also says that it is a grade 5 magic weapon. Lin Luoran feels that something is wrong. White Fairy used to be a cultivator in the later stage of gathering vitality. She naturally doesn't care about grade 5 flying swords. Lin Luoran asks her why she pays so much attention to the sword. White Fairy snorts. As a flying sword, it is not good enough. However, it is a hairpin, so it is different. The body of the hairpin is cast from the cold iron of the glacier. The blue pearls are real tears of mermaids. Mermaids are the so-called mermaids. This hairpin is really luxurious. Even as a flying sword, Lin Luoran's personal ability is still very high. To put it bluntly, even during the reign of Emperor Wu of the Zhou dynasty, there was a 100% chance that a qi refinement stage cultivator would be robbed on a dark and windy night with a 5th-grade flying sword in his hand. One could imagine how precious the sword of bright snow was. Therefore, when White Fairy says that this is Dan Feng's snow sword, Lin Luoran doesn't act like a rich person. She tells White Fairy that the other half of the bright sword is actually with her. According to White Fairy's disdain, Lin Luoran has already checked the universal sack given by Wen Guanjing. Lin Luoran is not unhappy about White Fairy's disdain about her wealth. Instead, Lin Luoran feels lucky that she didn't expose the secret of her space. No matter when, it's never wrong to hold back, right? Magic circles, on the other hand, bring Lin Luoran many surprises. For example, when she was testing the sword, Lin Luoran just needed to circulate Reiki around the small magic circle inside the blue pearl. The suppressed nature of the snow sword will be stimulated, and its color will become frosty and chilling. Lin Luoran waved her hand over the grassland. The poor grassland is frozen, and ice can be seen in the mud 3 feet under the ground. It is very powerful. Lin Luoran, who is in the level of training qi, may only be able to defeat such a powerful sword with 2 swords. Not only the enemy, but Lin Luoran's Reiki will also be drained. Lin Luoran's power can't be improved overnight. It's useless for Lin Luoran to be anxious. She has to take it easy. Fortunately, her priority now is to fly on the sword. The White Fairy is a good teacher. She is very careful when she is explaining. Lin Luoran also knows what to do, so she puts the tempting introduction aside and spends the whole night learning the sword riding spell. During the day, the White Fairy explains it to her again. In the evening of the next day, Lin Luoran can actually control the sword to fly crookedly. Of course, only the snow sword can leave her hand and hover around Lin Luoran's head and body crookedly. There is still a long way to go before it can take Lin Luoran to fly. During this period, in order not to arouse suspicion, Lin Luoran only eats the compressed food in the universal sack given by Wen Guanjing. After 2 meals of biscuits, Lin Luoran starts to think about the animals in the valley. The deer and horses are so cute that they always rub against Lin Luoran. Compared with the fat rabbits jumping around, Lin Luoran can only say "umitba" and beat the fat rabbits. A clean rabbit meat is hanging on a branch. Lin Luoran has always been envious of this scene in a martial arts movie since she was a child. Today her dream finally comes true. There is nothing else in the universal sack, but there is a bag of salt. Lin Luoran has always suspected that the sword of bright snow has something to do with the White Fairy. How can she cut the rabbit meat with the flying sword in front of the White Fairy? Therefore, the spells of the 5 elements come in handy. Lin Luoran casts the spell Cicada Wing of the Gold series. It is as thin as a cicada's wing. It is a waste to cut the rabbit meat with salt. The firewood fire is very hot. Those silly deer and horses don't know that Lin Luoran, who looks elegant, has been thinking about them. They come to the fire to warm themselves up and show some curiosity about the fire. The rabbit skewered on the wooden stick is roasted by the firewood. Its surface is shiny and it is sizzling. The aroma is spreading everywhere. It is really wild game. Of course, the White Fairy doesn't want to eat it. In fact, as a primordial spirit, she can't eat it even if she wants to. Therefore, after expressing her embarrassment to the White Fairy, Lin Luoran starts to eat the rabbit meat without embarrassment. Although she only smears salt on the meat, it tastes delicious. The rabbit meat is fat, but not greasy. It is the best rabbit meat Lin Luoran has ever eaten. Looking at Lin Luoran, who is concentrating on eating the rabbit meat, the White Fairy frowns. It seems that Lin Luoran has at least the Taoist root of gold and water. If the fireball spell she said before is not a bluff, it means that this junior has at least the Taoist root of 3 elements. Her foundation is so poor. The White Fairy is so annoyed that she doesn't know what to do next. Lin Luoran lowers her head to eat the rabbit meat and touches the heads of those silly deer and horses from time to time. It seems that she doesn't notice the White Fairy's embarrassment at all. The deeper the night, the heavier the dew. The grass that had been exposed to the sun during the day would emit a faint grass fragrance at night, mixed with the unique earthy smell of the soil, forming a light smell that wasn't too unpleasant. Lin Luoran is meditating with her eyes closed. However, her spiritual mind is always around her body as a warning. She doesn't know why tonight, but she has been restless. She always feels that someone is secretly watching her. However, there are only her and the white fairy at the bottom of the valley. In fact, the white fairy is not a human being. Is it really her? Lin Luoran thinks about it all night. She is not in the mood to cultivate at all. She falls asleep at dawn. She feels that as soon as she closes her eyes, the sun shines on her face. She can't sleep or wake up. The white fairy comes over like a gust of wind. She rolls up a handful of water and sprinkles it on Lin Luoran's face. Chapter 100. The white fairy wakes Lin up with a handful of water and tells her that she has to leave the valley today. Lin is so scared that she thinks something serious has happened. She wakes up immediately. Seeing the white fairy's serious face, Lin knows that she is not lying. The white fairy is not a talkative person. Lin doesn't ask more questions. She eats something and starts to practice the sword riding spell. The white fairy doesn't hide anything from Lin. She is very careful when teaching Lin. She almost wants to fly to the sky instead of Lin. In the afternoon, Lin can finally fly. However, she falls more than 10 times on the way. Every part of her body hurts. The white fairy feels that the sun is about to set. There is nothing she can do about Lin's progress. She can only urge Lin to dig the big round stone. It is not difficult to dig the stone. Lin thinks that it is difficult to take the big stone away, without exposing the space of the sacred bead. However, the white fairy asks her to cut off the surface of the stone. The sword of bright snow cuts the stone like cutting melons and vegetables. In less than a quarter of an hour, the sword of bright snow has cut the inside of the stone. There is a diamond-shaped black crystal stone. This is the soul stone that the white fairy mentioned. It is also her hiding place. Seeing that the soul stone is not damaged, white fairy breathes a sigh of relief. I have observed for many years. Today, the gang wind in the abyss will be the weakest of the year. You keep the soul stone close to you. With the vitality of living people in you, I can go out without any loss. Lin Luoran nods to show that she understands. Since she is paid, she has to help. The general instruction given by White Fairy is valuable enough for Lin Luoran to take a gamble. Different from spells, the sword-riding spell needs to be controlled by 2 hands. Lin puts the soul stone in White Fairy's universal sack and casts the spell. The sword of bright snow expands in the wind just like Wen Guanjing's flying sword. However, the sword of bright snow is long and smooth, with a sense of arrogance in it. Of course, Lin is happy. The sword of bright snow is a smooth sports car. Fortunately, it is not like Wen Guanjing's bus. Lin Luoran looks back at the deers and horses who are staring at her with tears in their eyes. Lin Luoran stops looking at them and flies up on her sword. The environment in the valley is really suitable for living in seclusion. However, she can't give up her family and friends outside. She has to say goodbye to the deers and horses. Although the sun is about to set, Li Shi'er has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. She has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. The sun is setting in the west, but Li Shi'er has no shelter at all. She has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. Food is not a problem. Everyone has prepared a month's supply of compressed food in the universal sack. However, what bothers Li Shi'er is not food. Water. How could he get more water? Li Shi'er weaves the leaves of the mountain vines into a small bowl. She has been drinking dew from the abyss in the past 3 days. However, the feeling of sweat on her body still makes her want to cry every time she thinks about it. Different from Li Shi'er, who always cries, Lin's aptitude is so good that people are jealous of her. A genius with a single Taoist root of gold. Even 1,000 years ago when spells were flourishing, would be hard to find a disciple like Lin Luoran. Because she is well protected, even when Guanjing and the others don't know that this little girl, who has always been a senior brother, has reached the middle stage of training Qi even though she is only in her early 20s. In this era when Reiki is in chaos and spells are declining, This is the level of a genius of a single nature. On the dangerous night of Bermuda, Li Shier's master agreed to let her come. On the one hand, Li Shier wants her to find a chance to lay foundation. On the other hand, Li Shier hopes that she can grow up through the hardships. It is really shameful for a cultivator who doesn't even dare to kill a chicken. However, no matter how talented she is, Li Shier is just a little cultivator in the middle stage of training qi. Her master is not a sword cultivator, and she can't ride on a sword. Except for flying swords, magic weapons with the ability to fly are very precious. Li Shier doesn't have such a magic weapon. The fish thread-like magic weapon is really a travel product for sneak attacks. However, she still has to put a bell on it to warn the enemy. Li Shier is so stupid. Stupid Li Shier has been crying for Lin Luoran in the past 3 days. She sighs about the difficulty of drinking water, and there is no way to get out of the abyss. Besides, there is a bigger problem that bothers her more. Li Shier looks at the sky and is thinking about how to solve this problem. Suddenly, she hears a long roar above her head. Her heart is beating fast. That thing is coming again. The fish thread-like magic weapon is wrapped around her wrist with a small bell. It looks like a unique bracelet. She shrinks to the cliff and looks up. A hawk with golden feathers and claws is hovering between the cliffs of the abyss. Seeing the prey it has been coveting for 2 days, the hawk swoops down at a fast speed. Li Shier has suffered a lot in the past 2 days. She naturally knows how powerful the golden hawk is. She has been gathering her strength for a long time. Seeing that the hawk is about to dive down, Li Shier casts a spell of Golden Blade spell. When the hawk is 20 feet away from Li Shier's head, Li Shier swings her right hand, and a streak of golden light shoots out. The golden light hits the hawk's huge claw. Gold is the most powerful among the 5 elements, and it is famous for its sharpness. However, when Li Shier's golden blade hits the hawk's huge claw, the hawk whines and flies up. However, there are only 2 shallow marks on its huge claw. The part of the hawk's claw near its flesh seems to be injured. A few drops of hawk blood drip down. Seeing that the hawk is injured, Li Shier is relieved. Without the help of magic figures, Li Shier can use such a fierce attack 5 times in a row, in such a place with abundant reiki. After 2 days of fighting with the hawk, Li Shier knows that the hawk will not give up. The first hit with the golden blade makes Li Shier more confident that she can survive the hawk's attack. The golden hawk flies between the cliffs of the abyss for a while. The wound on its claw is really painful. However, the creature on the cliff makes it drool. The hawk struggles for a while and starts to dive again. Li Shier has been ready for the second attack. Seeing the golden hawk flying towards her, she uses the golden blade spell again. This time, the blade hits the wings of the golden hawk. Different from the claws, the golden light hits the feathers. However, it is like a drop of water sliding through the grease. The golden light is dodged. Li Shier is shocked and her hands become flustered. When the golden hawk swoops down again, Li Shier loses the accuracy of her golden blade spell and misses the target twice. The golden hawk finally realizes that Li Shier is just a paper tiger. With a long howl, it flies higher into the sky. Li Shier sticks out her tongue and thinks that this is the end of the day. However, a strong wind blows. Li Shier raises her head and sees the shadow of the hawk swooping down. The 2 huge golden claws are infinitely enlarged. This time, the attack is fast and fierce. Li Shier is so scared that she even forgets that she can use the golden blade spell. She doesn't even know that she can use the fishing line magic weapon to defend herself. She is so scared that she closes her eyes and cries. Is it going to die like this? Li Shier is terrified. She thinks of her master, her parents, and all the people in the special squad. She misses Brother Wen and Sister Lin, who fell into the abyss to save her. If Sister Lin is here, it will be easy for her to deal with this little eagle, right? The more she thinks about it, the sadder she feels. After crying for a while, she is so tired that she doesn't realize that the scene where she is eaten by the hawk doesn't happen. Forget it. It's better to jump into the abyss and find Sister Lin. It's better than being eaten by the hawk. Li Shier opens her eyes and wants to jump off the cliff. However, she sees that Sister Lin, whom she thought was dead, is standing on a blue flying sword. Her skirt is fluttering in the wind. Sister Lin is using a water rope to trap the hawk. How majestic! Sister Lin! Li Shi throws herself on the platform. This time, she really cries with joy. Lin Luoran increases the output of Reiki to increase the binding power of the water rope. Seeing that Li Shi finally comes to herself, she nods to her. Chapter 101. Catch the Golden Hawk? Li is stunned. Sister Lin is so bold. She is not as weak as she is. Hearing Lin's urging again, Li is very anxious. She looks around for a while, and then remembers the fishing line on her wrist. Got it. Li makes a spell with her hands. The fishing line is watered by Reiki and flies up from her wrist. Li shouts, "Go!" And the fishing line rushes to the hawk. The hawk's attention is attracted by Lin, so it has no time to deal with Li's sneak attack. It didn't care about the thin fishing line at all. It grabbed it with its claws, but the fishing line didn't get torn off by its claws. Instead, it followed the golden eagle's claws and quickly tied it up tightly. The fishing line seemed to stretch endlessly. Not only did it tie up the golden eagle's wings, but it also tied up its sharp claws and beak. The amazing thing was that the more you struggled, the tighter it got. The golden eagle couldn't do anything about it. The arrogant golden hawk loses its ability to fight at once. Because its wings are trapped, it can't flap its wings to fly. It is about to fall into the abyss. Lin Luoran grabs its huge claw and flies it to the balcony upside down. Li feels like she is in a dream. She rushes to Lin and tries to grab her cuffs. However, Lin is wearing a sleeveless dress. Li has no idea where to grab Lin. She stares at Lin with tears in her eyes. Sister Lin, I'm so glad you are fine. Lin Luoran can tell that Li Shi has suffered a lot in the past 3 days. It is easy for Li Shi and Li Shi to develop feelings for each other. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran can't be as cold to Li Shi as before. Seeing Li Shi's eyes are full of tears, Lin Luoran doesn't know what to say. After a while of embarrassment, she asks, "Are you hungry?" Li pouts. She nods and then shakes her head. "No, I'm thirsty." Lin Luoran agrees. This place is not close to the sky, so water is indeed a problem. Lin Luoran takes out a bottle of mineral water from her universal sack and hands it to Li. Seeing that Li is drinking it in a hurry, Lin Luoran asks curiously, "I remember that there is enough water and food for a month in your universal sack." Li Shi is very embarrassed. She lowers her voice. "There are several sets of clothes in my universal sack." It's understandable that girls love to be beautiful. Lin Luoran wants to skip this topic. Li moistens her dry lips and says pitifully, "Sister, I want to take a bath." She has seen Lin Luoran make a magnificent bridge on the sea with a wave of her hand. She just wants Lin Luoran to drop some water on her, so that she can clean herself. Seeing that Li's face is as dirty as a cat, Lin remembers that she threw Li onto the rock. She sighs and casts a cleaning spell. Like a gentle breeze, Lin cleans away the dust on Li's body. Li is so happy that she almost kisses Lin Luoran. She takes out a pile of palace dresses from the universal sack and puts one on. Then she holds a white tang dress in her hands. She wants to give it to Lin Luoran. Lin lifts the golden hawk in her hand, indicating that it is not easy to change clothes with it. Li pats her head and says, "Sister, let me carry it. This bad thing has bullied me for 2 days. I have to let it have a taste of its power." Lin smiles. She doesn't look down on Li's childish behavior. Li's fishing line has been tying the golden hawk tightly. In fact, the end of the line is still on her wrist. Maybe it is the magic of the fishing line itself that makes it easy for her to carry the hawk. It is like swinging on a swing or flying a kite. The poor golden hawk is hanging upside down in the abyss. Its cheeks must be red under its feathers. Obviously, it has been hanging upside down for a long time, and its head is congested with blood. The palace dress that Li insists on giving Lin is of fine quality. There are 2 looming flowers embroidered on the cuffs. Compared with the sleeveless dress Lin is wearing, this dress is indeed a better match for the sword of bright snow. While the white fairy is hiding in the soul stone, she is aware of everything in the outside world. She has despised Lin's dress, which is said to be designed by a famous designer for a long time. She sneers at Lin's dress from time to time, saying that Lin's ears are getting calluses from hearing the bad fashion nowadays. According to White Fairy's requirements, the clothes given by Li Shi don't even have a dust-proof circle on them. Of course, they are not qualified. Fortunately, there are ancient characters on them. White Fairy can accept this style. Why don't she try it? Li Shi is looking at Lin Luoran eagerly. Lin Luoran is still using the water curtain as a barrier and quickly changes her clothes. When the water reiki disperses, Lin Luoran appears in front of Li Shi. Her robe is fluttering in the strong wind in the abyss. Standing on the edge of the stone platform, Lin Luoran looks like a fairy who is about to be blown into the sky by the wind. While Li is distracted, the hawk is in trouble. The fishing line in Li's hand, its real name is bundling rope, is a magic weapon with excellent ductility. As soon as Li's hand slips, the hawk slips down into the abyss. Lin Luoran is speechless. She grabs the rope and pulls up the hawk, who is scared to death. Lin Luoran stares at the golden hawk, who is scared to death, and says, "I want to take you as my servant. Are you willing?" Li blinks. She doesn't understand why Lin is talking to a feathered animal. Well, this hawk is powerful, but it is just a big bird. Why does Sister Lin want to take it as her servant? Can a hawk work? After being hung for a long time, the golden hawk's brain is congested with blood. It wants to tear the two abominable animals in front of it into pieces, but its wings can't move at all. However, it strangely feels that Lin Luoran has no intention to hurt it. As for what she says, it naturally can't understand. The hawk rolls its eyes and keeps nodding and bowing, which is a gesture of begging for mercy. Lin laughs. "You are so small. Of course you can't understand me. You are too impatient." Anyway, the hawk can't say anything against Lin, so it has no right to say anything. Lin takes advantage of this. She bites her middle finger and casts a spell. She draws a word figure in the air with her blood and puts it into the hawk's brain. This is a contract that cultivators must make when they want to take a spirit animal as their servant. This kind of drawing with blood is also called the blood contract. It is the most formal and strict contract between a master and a servant. It is usually used to deal with fierce birds and beasts. The golden eagle felt the power of balance approaching and instinctively wanted to resist the blood contract. It was also a kind of spiritual beast of heaven and earth, so its perception was extraordinary. Even though its innate magical power had not been awakened, it could feel that this was something that could make it lose its freedom. However, would this very powerful animal in front of it throw itself into the abyss after being rejected? The golden eagle recalled the feeling of falling and rising just now and softened without any backbone. While it was hesitating, the blood contract had been quickly verified. It was useless for it to go back on its words. Why does it suddenly feel that the animal in front of it has become kind and pleasing to the eye? The hawk's brain is still simple, so it doesn't know that this is the reaction of a successful master and servant contract. It stares at Lin in confusion. Once the contract is formed, Lin can feel the change of the hawk's mood. Lin tells Li to put away the magic weapon and stop tying it up. Li Shi'er is stunned. She doesn't know why Lin Luoran hurt her, but she knows how powerful Sister Lin is. With the help of Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran, Li Shi'er is confident that she can tie up the golden hawk again. She listens to Lin Luoran and takes back the bundling rope. As expected, as soon as the rope is taken back, the hawk feels that it has become the master. It hates Li for tying it up for a long time. It flaps its wings and tries to peck Li. Li screams and forgets the countermeasures she has thought of before. She only knows to hide behind Lin. "Goldie, from now on, your name is Goldie. Can you cultivate with me?" Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to communicate with the golden eagle. The golden eagle hears the human voice in its head and strangely understands it. "Goldie, my name is Goldie." Although the hawk doesn't know what its name is, it knows that Goldie is calling it. Goldie can only express simple emotions such as happiness, anger, sadness, and happiness. It can't speak human language. Facing Lin's intimacy, it takes a step forward and tries to rub against Lin. However, Li is so scared that she almost falls into the abyss. "What? Senior sister, it really can understand your words." Seeing that the hawk is not as fierce as she imagined, Lee is surprised. However, she still hides behind Lin and doesn't dare to get close to the hawk. Lin smiles. Goldie is not only obedient, but also we need it to get out of here. Chapter 102. With a clear chirp of a bird, a golden hawk flaps its wings and rushes out of the abyss. The sky in the lost land is so blue. Mountains and water coexist with each other. There are ancient trees and streams. Deer are drinking water and tigers are attacking sheep. Everything is so peaceful and beautiful. When all of this was looked down from high up in the sky, it was even more magnificent. The dream of mankind had never left flying, which was why the starry sky was so bright and mysterious that people yearned for it. That was why the immortals in the myths who rode on the clouds were envied and enjoyed incense. She has taken a plane before, but it's a totally different concept from what she is seeing now. When Lin Luoran looks down from Goldie's back, she has the feeling of a cultivator. What is cultivation? Isn't it about flying freely in the world? Li Xier shouted. If she were not in the sky, she would have stood up and jumped. Otherwise, she would not be able to express her inner excitement. She is just a girl from an ordinary family. When she was 7, her master found that she has the Taoist root of the nature of gold. She was taken back to her master's school to cultivate. In the beautiful mountains, the little girl's heart is as clear as a mirror. Naturally, her master will give priority to a genius like her. Therefore, in her cultivation career, Li Xier has never known what competition is. She doesn't know how sinister people can be. She doesn't need to compete at all. Her master only asks her to cultivate hard. Her parents who stay in the secular world can live a rich life, and she has a bright future. This kind of mind is suitable for cultivation, but it's not enough to be aggressive. Li Xier has the Taoist root of a single nature, which is hard to come by in 100 years. Her master's hope is not only to lay foundation. Besides, the nature of gold is the main attack. Cultivators must have the drive to match it. Otherwise, the gap between their state of mind and body will hinder their cultivation. However, compared with her peers, Li Xier's path is too smooth. Lin Luoran is in the middle stage of training qi, while Lin Luoran is in the late stage of training qi. Lin Luoran is in the middle stage of training qi, while Lin Luoran is in the late stage of training qi. Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran are only one small level apart, but there is such a huge gap in strength. Besides, Lin Luoran knows spells of the water and has used the binding spell of the wood. That is to say, Lin Luoran has at least 2 Taoist roots. Sitting on Goldie's back, Li Xier sighs at the beautiful scenery. At the same time, she has a little fighting spirit in her heart. Sister Lin is not a genius of a single nature, but she is already so powerful. Li Xier should work harder in the future. Li Xier doesn't want to be the first one, but she also doesn't want to be trapped on the cliff for 3 days and wait for her senior brothers and sisters to save her. Of course, Lin Luoran doesn't know that her appearance will bring such a big shock to this inexperienced little girl. Even if she knew, she would only think it was a good thing. The path of cultivation was long. If she was really the last cultivator in this world, that would be truly tragic. Senior sister, look over there. Li Xier points at a place down the cliff and suddenly shouts. Lin Luoran looks at the direction where Li Xier is pointing and finds that it is a forest. From their height, they can only see that the trees are full of fruits, but they can't tell what kind of fruit trees they are. Anyway, the trees are so large that they almost cover the whole hill. Seeing the look on Li's face, Lin Luoran knows that Li is greedy. Li loves delicious food, and she never tries to hide it. This reminds Lin Luoran of Baojia, who must be sick at the foot of Mount Qingcheng. Lin Luoran shakes her head and smiles. She can't turn down Li's desire. Besides, Goldie is also screaming. It must be thirsty after spending so much time with Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran instructs Goldie to find a place to land. When Goldie spreads its wings, its back is 2 meters wide, and its wings are 7 or 8 meters wide. That is why it can fly high with 2 people on its back. Now that Goldie is going to land, it needs a spacious place. Goldie hovers for a while and finds an open place. It rushes down. Li Xier is so scared that she grabs its feathers tightly. Lin Luoran has to hold Goldie's neck tightly to avoid being thrown off. Goldie coos and slows down. Lin Luoran can sense its mood and is amused. It seems that Goldie is taking revenge on Li Shi, or for teasing it on the cliff. Goldie is indeed a psychic bird. As they get closer, Lin Luoran and Li Shi see that they are in a peach forest. Pink and big peaches are hanging on the short peach trees. Lin Luoran can smell the fragrance of fruits from afar. Taking a breath, Lin Luoran feels that it is really fragrant. Lin Luoran gets down from Goldie's back and takes Li Shi with her. Goldie doesn't wait for Lin Luoran's order. The short peach tree is only half the height of a person. Goldie only needs to jump a little to reach the top. However, this silly eagle has a more direct way. It flaps its wings. Even the golden knife spell can't penetrate its wings. The peaches are so fragile that they fall to the ground. Goldie picks up a big peach, holds it in its beak, and shakes it to Lin Luoran. Li Shi, who has always disliked Goldie, is finally overwhelmed by its cuteness. Li Shi wants to pick up the peaches that Goldie has knocked down. Goldie stares at her with its eagle eyes and spreads its wings to stop her. Li Shi sighs and pouts. She goes to the peach tree next to her and finds the biggest and reddest one. She bites it angrily. However, although the skin of the peach looks crisp, the inside is actually ripe. Li Shi takes a bite, and the peach juice splashes all over her face, which makes her jump again. Seeing Goldie's short cry and flapping its wings, Lin Luoran almost bursts into laughter. Goldie is not stupid. It seems that it is laughing at Li Shi. Not only that, but Goldie also pecks open a peach and cleverly sucks up all the juice. Li Shi is so angry that she jumps up and down. Lin Luoran feels that both Goldie and Goldie are funny. No wonder they can stay on the cliff for 2 days. Lin Luoran opens the peach that Goldie gives her and takes a sip. It is sweet and delicious. If the peach is cultivated in the space, will it evolve into a peach like the Queen Mother's peach after many years? It is a bit far-fetched, but it is still possible to plant some. Lin Luoran collects several peach seeds and puts them in the universal sack. White Fairy's disgusted voice rings. "You are so bold. How dare you put anything next to me?" Lin Luoran notices that Li Shi and Goldie are provoking each other. In fact, she is having a good time and has no time to care about what is happening here. Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to communicate with White Fairy. "I haven't thanked you yet. If you didn't teach me the art of controlling animals, I wouldn't have accepted Goldie as a great help." Although she can ride on the sword, Lin Luoran is happy to accept Goldie, which looks fierce but is cute. "You are so lucky to meet such a young golden hawk. It will become more powerful in the future. Just wait for a few years." Lin Luoran answers, "Yes." She is both grateful and afraid of White Fairy. She can fly out of the abyss with the sword-riding spell, but White Fairy gives her the precious primary instruction of swords. Even so, why does White Fairy want to teach her how to tame Goldie? Lin Luoran never believes that there is nothing good in the world without a reason. The more White Fairy gives her, the more she wants from her. Lin Luoran doesn't believe that White Fairy only wants to get out of the abyss. Lin Luoran hesitates for a while and vaguely expresses the preciousness of the primary instruction of swords. White Fairy is speechless for a while and then smiles. Chapter 103. So the primary instruction has something to do with Wenguanjing? Lin Luoran is embarrassed. White Fairy doesn't want to talk about her purpose, so Lin Luoran has to stop talking about it. At this moment, she sees Goldie flying into the sky, looking alert. Li Shi is also full of peaches. She runs to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran looks up. It turns out that a group of long-haired monkeys are running up from the foot of the mountain. They are swinging among the peach trees very fast. In fact, this peach mountain is the territory of these monkeys. Because of the terrain, the peaches on the top of the mountain taste especially good. Sometimes the monkeys are reluctant to eat them. First, a little monkey finds Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran on the mountainside. It runs back to report the news. Finally, the little monkey army arrives. These monkeys are aggressive, but they are afraid of Goldie. They stop far away. The leading monkey shows its teeth. It seems that it is not willing to give up. After thinking for a while, it takes the lead to pick peaches and throws them to Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er. The monkey army follows suit. They pick peaches and throw them to Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er. They launch long-distance attacks, trying to drive Lin Luoran and Li Shi away. For a moment, the monkeys are screaming and the leaves of the peaches are flying all over the sky. The monkey army has enough ammunition, so their attack is really powerful. Of course, these peaches can't hit Lin Luoran. However, they irritate Goldie. It opens its claws and is about to tear a monkey into pieces. Lin Luoran stops it. With the bundling rope on Li's body, little things like peaches can't hit Li. Li thinks these monkeys are cute and agrees with Lin Luoran's decision to stop Goldie. Seeing that Goldie was angry, the leader of the monkeys whistled. The army of monkeys threw away the peaches in their hands and ran away with the wind. Sister, they are so fun. Shall we follow them and see their nest? Li Shi'er is a playful girl. Lin Luoran comes to the secret land to broaden her horizons, so she agrees with Li Shi'er. Li Shi'er can teleport and jump, so she doesn't need to bother Goldie. Both of them jump on top of the tree and follow the monkey army unhurriedly. From time to time, the army of monkeys would turn around to look. Seeing that the two humans and the condor were still following them, they were infuriated. From time to time, they would bare their fangs in a threatening manner and run even faster. Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er run over a mountain. The dense forest affects their speed. When the forest opens up again, the army of monkeys is gone. Li Shi'er is anxious. Lin Luoran tells her to be quiet. Xiao Jin had been monitoring from high up in the sky. At this moment, its usefulness was revealed. Following Xiao Jin's direction, the two chased after it. Arriving at a rocky mountain stream, Lin hears the sound of running water. Pushing aside the branches, there is a big waterfall. Goldie hovers over the waterfall and doesn't leave. She doesn't see a monkey, but Goldie hovers over the waterfall. Lin Luoran looks at Li Shi'er, and they say at the same time, "Water curtain cave? Water curtain cave, haha." It turned out that they were all thinking the same thing. It seemed that Journey to the West still had its practical uses. Lin Luoran takes the lead and walks forward. Sure enough, an army of monkeys with water drops on their bodies rushes out of the waterfall. Seeing that they are holding stones in their hands, Lin Luoran touches her face. She and Li Shi'er were just being childish. Did they put too much pressure on the monkeys? Forget it. We will disturb them if we force our way in. When Lin Luoran is about to persuade Li Shi'er to leave, she sees a tall and big old monkey coming out of the waterfall. Its hair and beard are all white. A little monkey is holding it and walking upright. The old monkey looks like the god of longevity. The old monkey seems to be in poor health. It is so sick that it even bows to Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er politely. Lin Luoran is really shocked. The old monkey wobbles and makes a gesture to them. Lin Luoran doesn't want to leave right away. Besides, since the old monkey comes out, the army of monkeys has become less alert, although they are still holding stones in their hands. People who grew up reading the 4 classic novels all yearn for the Monkey King of the Mountain of Flowers and Fruits. Li Shi'er is a heartless person. She only knows to follow Lin Luoran's lead. Lin Luoran finally gives up. She asks Goldie to wait for them nearby. Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er follow the old monkey into the cave under the waterfall. Walking through the waterfall, Lin Luoran's hair is full of water, which makes the sort of bright snow in her hair even more crystal clear and attractive. This seems to be a natural passage. Because it is close to the waterfall, the passage is wet. Lin Luoran and Li Shi'er have to hold up their skirts to walk through it. The old monkey leads the way and turns around from time to time to wait for them. Lin Luoran notices that the old monkey will be out of breath when it walks too fast. Lin Luoran can't bear it, so she walks very slowly on purpose, so that the old monkey can only walk slowly to wait for them. The old monkey seems to know what Lin Luoran is thinking. It turns around and waves its hand like a human, as if saying that it doesn't matter. However, it also starts to walk slowly, cooperating with Lin Luoran. The two of them have been walking in the passage for a long time. Li Shi'er is a bit afraid of such a quiet environment. However, Lin Luoran has a sharp feeling that they are walking into the belly of the mountain. Is the monkey's nest built in the belly of the mountain? Thinking of such an environment, Lin Luoran feels that the dark cave is boring. However, after turning 2 corners, the old monkey pushes open a stone door. Lin Luoran feels that the light is getting brighter. Following the old monkey into the stone gate, Lin Luoran, who is usually calm and composed, can't help but feel refreshed when she sees the scenery in front of her. Is this a masterpiece of nature? This is a very spacious cave or a cave. It is about 200 or 300 meters in radius and 10 meters high. At the top of the cave there is a big cave. The sunlight in the cave is dim, not gloomy at all. Milky white stalactites hang down from the top of the cave. There is a big tree in the middle of the cave. The tree has luxuriant branches and leaves. The trunk is 4 or 5 meters thick. The crown of the tree reaches to the top of the cave where the sun shines down. The sunlight is sparse and mottled on the stalactites, creating an unreal sense of beauty. As for the 4 or 5 meters thick trunk, it has been hollowed out and made into a house with many small windows. The old monkey is inviting them into the wooden house. The old monkey makes a pleased gesture and Lin Luoran and Li Xi walk in. The wooden house is dry and refreshing with the fragrance of fruits. It doesn't look like a place for a monkey. Well, in fact, Lin Luoran feels that the old monkey is no different from a human being, except that it can't speak. Lin Luoran, Li Xi, and Li Xi sit on the wooden chair. After a while, they hear the monkeys outside the wooden house. Lin Luoran looks out of the window and finds that the other monkeys are coming in one after another. Besides, they are carrying all kinds of fruits in their hands. There are peaches, pears, bananas, and even some fruits that Lin Luoran and Li Xi have never seen before. When they are eating the fruits, the old monkey coughs again. Lin Luoran feels sorry for the white hair and beard of the monkey. She can't help but use her clear eyes to look at it. Chapter 104. In the eyes of cultivators, demonic cultivators were a different species. As the saying goes, behead demons and eliminate devils. The demons here referred to the different species that had set foot in the cultivation world, and the devils referred to the human cultivators whose cultivation methods had entered the demonic path. If Wen Guanjing were here, he would never follow the old monkey into the cave. If he were strong enough, he would have killed the old monkey. However, Lin Luoran and Li Xi don't know about these taboos. That's the difference in their views. In fact, this monkey was quite bold. It was injured, and it thought that even if it died together, it would at most drag one person down with it. As for the other cultivator left behind, he would definitely kill all of its kind. Therefore, the old monkey took a gamble and took the initiative to invite the 2 female cultivators to its cave abode. It was originally planning to spend money to avoid disaster. If they liked something, they could just take it. In the old monkey's eyes, it was worth it to save this group of little monkeys. As the old monkey has expected, the 2 female cultivators seem to be good-tempered. They don't want to kill them as soon as they meet. The old monkey is thinking about what gift to send the 2 human cultivators away. At this moment, Lin Luoran checks it, which makes the old monkey nervous again. Well, the old monkey not only has Reiki in its meridians, but also has a shadow in its lungs. Are you hurt? The old monkey is stunned. It can't deny that the female cultivator has seen through it, so it has to nod. Li Xi feels sorry for Lin Luoran. She looks at Lin Luoran with tears in her eyes, but she doesn't have the courage to avoid it. Lin Luoran ponders for a while. The nature of wood focuses on vitality. There is a healing spell of the nature of wood in the spells of the 5 elements. Lin Luoran hasn't tried it yet. However, according to the spell, the Reiki in her body will be consumed. There are many monsters in the secret land. Lin Luoran was able to subdue Goldie, because Goldie's talent has not been awakened yet. Therefore, it will be very dangerous for Lin Luoran to run out of Reiki. Seeing that Lin Luoran doesn't respond, the old monkey feels relieved. It claps its hands, and the monkey outside brings in 3 stone cups. The smell of wine permeates the air. Li Xi shouts, "Monkey wine! Do you know this wine?" Lin Luoran asks curiously. Li Xi nods and whispers something in Lin Luoran's ear. It turns out that Li Xi's school is also in the deep mountains. She is very active, and often goes to the forest to play. The animals in the forest are often teased by her. One of the monkeys was found by Li Shi'er, and she almost stole all the monkey wine brewed by others. The monkeys went to the gate of Li Shi'er's school every day to make trouble. Li Shi'er's master was alerted, and she returned the wine to the monkeys. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Li Shi's words make Lin Luoran laugh. Of Li of the monkey of Li Shi's school. However, in that case this monkey wine was something very precious to monkeys, right? Lin of the monkey is of the monkey. Of the monkey of Li of monkey of Li of Li. This monkey wine is spirit wine. Li Shi'er burps, but Lin Luoran soon sees the essence of it. She thinks of her parents at home. This kind of spirit wine is mild, and it is perfect for the health of her parents and little Luodong. She has to take some risks to get it, right? The health of her family is always what Lin Luoran cares about most. It is just a healing spell, which is a good deal for Lin Luoran. She knows that the old monkey can understand human language, so she doesn't beat around the bush and asks directly, "If you can give me some of this spirit wine, I have a way to cure your injury." The old monkey's eyes light up. Its lung injury has lasted for many days, and no matter how many spirit herbs it has eaten, it can't be cured. If Lin Luoran can cure it, some spirit wine is nothing. The old monkey nods. Lin Luoran is not a talkative person. She asks Li Shi'er to protect her, and recalls the gesture of the healing spell. The first gesture is to draw a half moon in the air. There are 108 gestures in total, which is the highest level spell Lin Luoran can cast. The secret land is full of Reiki, so spells are much more powerful than outside. When Lin Luoran finishes the 108 gestures, green light flashes on her fingertips. Green Reiki molecules gather together, which is very dazzling. The army of monkeys outside the cabin starts to shout again. Actually, Lin Luoran is having a hard time. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are the cycles of the world. Any spell involving healing is actually very exhausting. This is the fairness of the Tao of Heaven. It is said that the Tao of Heaven used to stop some elixirs when they were made. This shows that the Tao of Heaven is not satisfied with the interference of human life and death. The green light is getting brighter, and Lin Luoran's forehead is sweating. Li Shi'er and the old monkey are looking at her with worry. White Fairy, who is hiding in the soul stone in the universal sack, is in a bad mood. Does this mean that this junior has the Taoist root of three natures? Lin Luoran has completely given up on her plan. In the age of spells, a junior with three natures is not even qualified to be an inner disciple. White Fairy even suspects that Lin Luoran has taken some elixir to preserve her looks. According to Lin Luoran's talent, it is impossible for her to cultivate to the late stage of training qi in her early 20s. Especially according to this junior, spells are in decline in the outside world. Lin Luoran doesn't know that she has temporarily dispelled one of White Fairy's plans. Would Reiki overflows from her fingertips and benefits the hollowed tree. Spells use one's own Reiki as a primer to mobilize the Reiki in the world. However, the healing spell can only be used by cultivators at the peak of training qi. Lin Luoran doesn't know the difference, and uses it at the late stage of training qi. As a result, all Reiki in her body is drained, except for the fire Reiki that she has been using for a long time. With the remaining half of the void full moon, the healing spell comes to an end. The rolling green light is condensed into the size of a peach pit. Lin Luoran points her finger, and the green light goes into the old monkey's lungs smoothly. It would be too fake to say that the spell could cure the disease. After all, it was a spell in the level of training qi, not a heaven-defying magic of a grand cultivator. However, it did stop the old monkey's coughing for a while. This ball of wood Reiki with pure vitality would slowly heal the old monkey's injury in the next 2 or 3 days. Chapter 105. Sister Lin. Li calls her softly. Lin opens her eyes. The little monkey beside the old monkey is holding a stone cup. It is another cup of monkey wine. The difference is that the color of this cup is much darker, almost burgundy, and the Reiki is abundant. Well, Lin Luoran is still in the mood to think of the joke about tea. Serve tea. And serve good tea. Isn't it too similar? Thinking of this, Lin still lowers her head, and drinks the monkey wine, which is full of Reiki. In less than 3 minutes, Lin feels warm all over her body. The Reiki consumed by the healing spell is being replenished little by little. Lin feels embarrassed. This is just like a potion in a game that can help her regain her mana. Lin Luoran has only 1 month in the secret land. There is no trace of other people within the sensing range of their jade pendants. Time limit means that Lin Luoran can't stay in one place for too long. When Lin Luoran is about to accept the gift and leave, she hears the screams of monkeys outside the cabin. The old monkey stands up first and rushes out of the room, ignoring its usual human politeness. Lin Luoran is still savoring the aroma of the spirit wine. She can't help but look out of the window. Li Xi'er covers her mouth and exclaims. Lin Luoran narrows her eyes. It turned out that the monkeys from before had come in. They were different from the lively monkeys that threw peaches at them at the beginning. These monkeys were all injured, and the leader of the monkey army from before had the heaviest injury. His arm was hanging weakly by his side, and there were bloodstains all over it. It seemed like his arm was broken. The old monkey knows how to stop bleeding. The little monkeys can recover with some spirit wine. However, the hand of the monkey army's leader is broken. If the bone is not set, it will be useless even if it recovers. Lin Luoran sighs and gets out of the cabin. She breaks 2 branches of equal thickness from the tree and finds a thin rope. She connects the bones of the monkey leader and puts a simple splint on it. Tell it that it must wear this splint until its arm is healed and the bone is healed. Do you understand? When Lin Luoran bandages the wound, the monkey army's leader feels a lot of pain. It's not hard to guess that it is in pain from the way it grimaces in pain. However, what are those sparkling tears at the corner of its eyes? The old monkey makes a gesture, and the leader of the monkey army nods to thank Lin. He looks at Lin Luoran with unprecedented kindness. Lin Luoran doesn't want to be a savior. However, in the real world, people always say that humans are primates and monkeys and chimpanzees are close relatives. Even if she cultivates, she still can't get rid of these inherent ideas. She has never hated monkeys, but she can only help them. She will try her best to cure them. The monkey leader's hand doesn't hurt so much now. He gestures to the old monkey and says something. Lin Luoran notices that the old monkey's face is getting darker, and its eyes are getting red. After hearing what the monkey leader says, the old monkey rushes out regardless of Lin Luoran and the others. Of course, Li wants to follow them. She hasn't got the spirit wine yet. She can't let the old monkey die in front of her. Who can she ask for the wine from? Facing a group of weak monkeys, Li Xi'er doesn't want to steal the spirit wine. It is much faster to go out than to come here. Soon they hear the sound of the waterfall. Soon, a curtain of water appears in front of Lin Luoran. Coming out from the belly of the mountain, Lin Luoran sees Goldie standing in the pond and confronting the old monkey. Lin Luoran finally lets out a sigh of relief. She has been worried that Goldie might have captured a few monkeys to show off its power, since she hasn't come out for a long time. The one standing in front of the old monkey is not Goldie, but a 2-meter-tall black bear with a big stick on its shoulder. It is the black bear that northerners often call a blind bear. Well, what level is the black bear protected by the country? Lin Luoran can't think of this at the moment. However, this is not the point. The point is that no one has ever seen a black bear challenge the monkey's cave with a big stick. Lin notices that the black bear is thick-skinned and has weapons in its hands. There is also Reiki flowing in its body. Maybe it is the bear that injured the old monkey. However, the old monkey can't even defeat the black bear under normal circumstances. Now the old monkey is still injured. If it gets hit a few more times, it will have to meet its ancestor, the great sage. Lin Luoran feels that her idea is too evil. However, the black bear starts to attack. Maybe bears are stupid. Seeing that there are 2 more helpers, it still dares to attack first. It is really stupid. However, to be exact, Li Xi'er is a helper. She has eaten the monkey's fruit and drunk the monkey wine. She is used to playing with the monkeys in the mountain. Seeing the monkeys, she only thinks they are cute. How can she let the old monkey get hurt again? Therefore, Li Xi'er sneakily attacks the black bear while it is waving its big stick. It is a pity that the copper bell on her fishing line is so loud that even a stupid bear knows to avoid it. The fishing line falls into the water. When Lee takes it back, there is a carp that weighs about 2 or 3 kilograms tied to the end of the fishing line, and it is still alive. Lin Luoren wonders if staying with Li Shi for too long will affect her IQ. Ahem. Sister, let's help the old monkey. Li Shi realizes that her attack has failed. She remembers that Lin Luoren is with her and asks for help immediately. Lin Luoren has been taking care of her all the way. Li Shi thinks that Lin Luoren can handle such a small matter. However, Lin Luoren shakes her head and says, Sister, I used up all my Reiki to heal the old monkey. You are the only one who can do it. Li Shi is stunned. She just remembers that Lin Luoren has helped a lot. She is so heartless to ask Lin Luoren to help. But the black bear is so tall. Before Li Shi makes a move, she remembers that she was in a stalemate with Goldie on the cliff. Can she really defeat the black bear? Li Shi who is as brave as a rabbit when it comes to serious matters, hesitates and then gives up. While Li Shi is still hesitating, the old monkey can't stand it anymore. It gets hit by the black bear's stick and falls into the water. The water is full of blood. Li Shi can't tell whether the old monkey is still alive or not. Li Shi holds the bundling rope tightly and suddenly cries. At this moment, she remembers that Lin Luoren threw her on the rock, and she fell into the abyss. Although Lin Luoren is fine in the end, if Li Shi was braver and more mature, she might have been able to catch Lin Luoren. With tears on her face, Li Shi jumps forward and throws the bundling rope to stop the black bear. She casts spells with her right hand at an unprecedented speed. When the black bear pounces on her with the stick, Li Shi shouts cicada wing and attacks the bear with the spell Lin Luoren used to roast the rabbit. Although Li Shi is not cruel enough, at least she has made the first step. Lin Luoren sighs. White Fairy, who is hiding in the universal sack, laughs. Chapter 106. Is she a good person? Lin Luoren has never thought of herself as a good person in the traditional sense. Looking at Li, who narrowly avoids the bear's attack, Lin Luoren refuses to admit that she is a good person. Well, I just hope that one less person will hold me back. Lin Luoren says that she won't help, but she still cares about the old monkey. At least she hasn't received a gift yet. With the pond here, Lin Luoren has recovered enough Reiki to cast a simple water spell. A water rope emerges from the pool. Lin Luoren pulls the old monkey over. Lin Luoren takes a look at the old monkey. She is shocked by its terrible condition. The monkey's face is covered with blood, and its body is limp. The army of monkeys has been hopping around, unable to help. Seeing that the old monkey is saved by Lin Luoren, they all gather around, and some of them are crying. Lin Luoren puts her hand under the bear's nose. She is speechless. Li Sierra is also paying attention to this. She casts a spell of gold on the bear and asks anxiously, Sister Lin, how is the old monkey? Lin Luoren lowers her eyelids and says, Dead. Dead. The old monkey, who had just served them fruits and spiritual wine, was dead. Li's eyes are red. The bear takes advantage of her carelessly and hits her right hand with a stick. Although Li rolls into the pool and avoids the stick, her shoulder is still hit by the end of the stick. When she gets up from the pool, her right hand is so painful that she can't even lift it up, let alone make a gesture to cast spells. Lin Luoren narrows her eyes. She has already cast a spell of sword. If Li Sierra is in danger, she will kill the bear with her snow sword. The bear roars and raises its stick fiercely. As usual, Li Sierra panics and Lin Luoren is ready to take action. What should she do? Li Sierra's mind is blank. How can she subdue the bear when she can't move her right hand? Right hand? I still have my left hand. In a split second, Li's body tilted to one side. Black Bear's stick hit her right side from her face. She groaned as the stick hit her already injured right hand. Li Sierra feels that her right hand may be disabled. It hurts so much, but she insists on doing what she wants. The bear squints its eyes. Now is the time. A small golden knife flies out of Li's left hand and hits the bear's eyes accurately. Golden knife spell can only be used by people in the middle stage of training Qi. The bear, who only has great strength, but doesn't know any spells, can't resist it. The bear wails in pain. Its eyes are ruined. Li Shi'er is exhausted, but she still uses the bundling rope to tie the bear tightly while it is rolling in the pond. Then she collapses in the water. Lin Luoran knows that Li will win when she uses the Golden Blade spell. She dispels the Reiki on her fingertips and asks the monkeys to carry the old monkey back. Half of Li's body is in the water, and her right hand is totally numb. Seeing Lin standing by the water and looking at her, Li cries, "Sister, am I too cruel?" Lin Luoran doesn't help her. She sits on a stone beside the pool and says calmly, "You destroying its eyes is indeed cruel to it, but to these monkeys, it is indeed a great kindness. For the sake of the spirit wine brewed by the monkeys, this black bear would come every few days to cause trouble. Every time, there would be casualties among the monkeys. It is indeed a great enemy for them. That's how cultivation is. Whether you're good or evil, and what you should do with your spells, it all depends on your choice." He hoped that Li Shi'er could understand that not all killings were bad. Li Shi'er is silent for a while. "Sister. Thank you." She was just a little naive, but she wasn't a fool. If they didn't really care about her, who would spend the effort to teach her these principles? "Sister, how do you know all this?" Li asked suspiciously. How could Lin Luoran know all this in such a short time? Seeing that Li has thought it through, Lin Luoran doesn't answer right away. Instead, she stands up and walks a few steps. Then she turns around and blinks at Li. "The old monkey told me." Well, can the old monkey talk? I've been with Lin all the time, but it never talked about these things. Except when Lin Luoran was fighting with the black bear. The old monkey was dead at that time. Li remembers that Lin Luoran winked at her naughtily. Then she yells, "Sister, you lied to me." Lin Luoran laughs, "Come on. It will really die if you don't come back." Li jumps up from the pond and shakes off the water like a proud rooster. Her right hand is injured, but it is a glorious injury, right? "Sister, wait for me." Li runs after Lin Luoran with her arms crossed. Lin Luoran's dress flashes in the corner of the waterfall. Lin Luoran has already entered the cave. In the cabin, the old monkey is lying on a chair to heal its wound with a ruddy face. After Lin Luoran's treatment, Li Shi'er is jumping up and down. She points at the old monkey and yells, "So you can talk and you are still alive at that time? You lied to me?" The old monkey coughs and says, "Fairy, please don't be angry." Li Shi'er is angry for a long time. She thought that the old monkey was dead, so she went to fight the fierce and strong black bear. However, the old monkey looks refreshed now. It turns out that Sister Lin knew that it was fine, and they worked together to deceive her. Li Shi'er is angry for a long time. It was indeed injured at that time, but it was different from its previous internal injuries. Those injuries looked dangerous, but they were actually very easy to recover from. As for talking, if you hadn't gone to save it, Elder Monkey wouldn't have been able to bear to see you get hurt by the black bear, and begged me to help. Even I was fooled by it. The old monkey blushes and says, "I'm so sorry. Fairies, you are different from the human cultivators in the legend. You are both kind-hearted. I'm sorry for being a villain." Li Shi'er laughs again. "You're not a human. You're a monkey in vain." "Yes, little monkey. Fairy is right." The old monkey bows its hands. Lin Luoran can tell that it likes Li Shi'er very much. It even likes Lin Luoran, the one who cured its wound. Li Shi'er is amused by the old monkey. After a while, she remembers what they are here for. She looks at Lin Luoran and asks, "Sister, can't we stay here for one more day? One more day means 2 more days for you. We don't have enough time." The old monkey loses its spirit. Aborigines like them all know that human cultivators can only come here for 1 month every 100 years. It is impossible for them to go out. That is to say, if they say goodbye now, they will never see each other again. Lin Luoran is quite doubtful about this, but she doesn't have much time. The old monkey cheers up and takes them to the pond where the monkey wine is stored. Well, looking at the glitter of different quality monkey wine in 3 deep, large and connected stone ponds, Lin Luoran is dazzled. She admits that she can understand the mood of the drunkard a little bit. This kind of spirit wine is even useful for Lin's cultivation. Lin Luoran is more interested in it than a drunkard. The old monkey seems to be sad. It tells Lin Luoran to make the wine casually. Li Shir sticks out her tongue and says, "We don't have jars." Yes, it is easy to make wine jars. Lin Luoran asks the monkeys to dig a lot of clay for her. She uses the spell of the nature of earth to make wine jars. Lin Luoran uses the spell of the nature of earth the least. She can't control the jars precisely, so the wine jars are all square. Lin Luoran comforts herself that she can make more square jars. Lin Luoran uses the improved spell of Fireball to make a square Lin Luoran wine jar. Although there are no flowers or birds on the jar, the temperature of the fireball is high enough to make it a porcelain jar. The old monkey keeps asking Lin Luoran to make more wine jars. It seems that it is going to give Lin Luoran a lot of wine. Considering the space of the universal sack, Lin Luoran makes 12 wine jars. 3 kinds of monkey wine of different years are different. Lin Luoran is going to share the wine with Li Shir. However, Li Shir is reluctant to give up her clothes in the universal sack, so she only takes 4 jars. Lin Luoran throws away all the food in the universal sack and puts away the remaining 8 jars. The space of the universal sack is full. Even the soul stone of White Fairy is pushed to the corner. Li Shir is reluctant to part with Lin Luoran. She only thinks that Lin Luoran is powerful. She doesn't notice that Lin Luoran has used spells of the nature of wood, water, earth and fire. Chapter 107. Li leads the half-dead black bear. Now it is really a blind bear. She looks back every 3 steps and leaves the water curtain cave of the monkeys. Lin Luoran looks at the old monkey, who is standing at the entrance of the cave. She sends a strand of her spiritual mind to the old monkey and tells it how to practice spells of the 5 elements. After a while, the old monkey is so excited that Lin Luoran shakes her head to tell it not to say anything. This old monkey clearly had spiritual qi in his body, but he didn't know how to use it. Thus, he was suppressed by the black bear who came to challenge him. They were both demons that had just gained intelligence, but the black bear had an advantage in terms of talent and strength. How could this thin and weak old monkey deal with it? Lin Luoran gives the old monkey some spells because she believes that it is better to teach a man to fish than to give him a fish. They can help the monkeys defeat the black bear, but they can't protect the monkeys for the rest of their lives. When the Bear King comes back, no one can guarantee that there won't be Tiger Kings and Leopard Kings who covet the monkey wine. Therefore, Lin Luoran wants to help the old monkey open the door of cultivation as soon as possible, which is the most fundamental help for the monkeys. Although these are just some basic spells of the 5 elements, it is easy to understand the application of the power of the 5 elements because of the basics. As for what the old monkey can learn from these spells, Lin Luoran can't guarantee. Holding the black bear in her right hand and a stone box in her left hand, Li Shir says suspiciously, "Before we left, the old monkey gave me a box. I don't know what it is." Holding the black bear, she hands the box to Lin Luoran. As soon as Lin Luoran takes the box, she feels Reiki coming from the gap of the box. Did the old monkey give Li something? Lin Luoran is curious. She opens the box and Reiki comes out. There are 2 mushrooms, one big and one small. Mushrooms? Li Shir loses interest immediately. It is better to give her some peaches. White Fairy chuckles, monkey mushroom. The old monkey is interesting. Lin Luoran also asks shamelessly with her spiritual mind, "Fairy, do you know this monkey mushroom? I can see that it is full of Reiki. What is it for? Why didn't the old monkey eat this monkey mushroom when it was injured?" White Fairy snorts, "You don't have a good aptitude. You don't even know that this is the primer for making foundation-laying bolus. Otherwise, the old monkey wouldn't have pretended to be silent." Lin Luoran doesn't tell White Fairy about the lost formula of foundation-laying bolus. Maybe she can get the formula from her? For the first time, Lin Luoran feels that she is a little sinister. She closes the box and asks casually, "The monkey mushroom alone is useless. It's not easy to collect all the other medicinal materials." White Fairy says weakly, "Are you really going to make foundation-laying bolus by yourself? No matter how dangerous the outside world is, your school can't even afford a foundation-laying bolus, can they?" After saying this, White Fairy suddenly chokes. The Taoist root of 5 natures. Even in her generation, schools would not give foundation-laying bolus. White Fairy feels sorry for Lin Luoran. If you want to make elixirs by yourself, you can spend the whole month looking for spirit herbs. If you are lucky, you might be able to get what you want, such as 7-star grass, luminous sand butterfly bush flower. While White Fairy is talking, Li Shi has no idea that Lin Luoran is at a critical moment. Seeing that Lin Luoran is still standing there, Li Shi can't help but ask, "Sister Lin, where are we going with the black bear?" Lin Luoran has to let go of this idea for now. Otherwise, White Fairy will get suspicious. Who knows what she will do for the prescription of bolus? However, there seems to be a place marked on the jade slip for the luminous sand, and it is not far from here. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran tells Li Shi, "Put this stone box away. It is a gift from the old monkey. It is a very precious spirit mushroom. As for the black bear, we are going to get the trophies." Li doesn't care about the mushroom. Instead, she is interested in the trophies Lin Luoran is talking about. Are we going to the black bear's nest? After getting the answer, Li pushes the stone box to Lin Luoran again. "Sister, the old monkey gave us 2 mushrooms. Of course, 1 for each of us. You can keep it." Lin Luoran smiles. She doesn't say no. The mushroom is the guiding drug for making foundation-laying bolus. Lin Luoran needs it very much. The black bear's nest is on the other side of the Peach Mountain, where Lin Luoran and the monkey's water curtain cave. Goldie has been hovering around the Peach Mountain all day. Smelling Lin Luoran's breath, it flies down. Seeing that they are carrying a black bear, Goldie, who is so bored with eating peaches, pounces on them without hesitation. Li covers her eyes. Lin Luoran wants to stop Goldie, but she hesitates and decides not to. Goldie is not a vegetarian. Lin Luoran can't ask a bird to eat fruits every day, can she? The black bear screams. Goldie's beak is so sharp that even the bear's thick skin can't stop it. Goldie pecks the bear's chest and eats the bear's gallbladder. Seeing that Goldie will not stop until it is full, Lin Luoran can't bear to see Goldie tearing the black bear apart. Lin Luoran takes Li's hand and rides on the sword to cross the Peach Mountain first. Well, the bear's paw is good. Should she ask Goldie to be merciful? Lin Luoran is not a Taoist. The black bear just absorbs Reiki into its body over time in such an environment. It can't speak like the old monkey. However, Lin Luoran doesn't have the psychological barrier of killing people casually. If that's the case, Lin Luoran should just stop eating meat in the future. Who knows if a chicken or a fish can also become a Taoist one day. The old monkey certainly knows where the black bear's cave is, so it gives Lin Luoran a clear landmark. Looking down from the sword, it is easy to find the cave. It is a natural cave. Lin Luoran and Li search in the air. After a while they see 3 crooked trees. Lin Luoran rides on the sword. Before she picks up the sword, she smells the stench of the black bear's cave. Li Shi laughs and says, "Sister, I'll keep watch for you." Lin Luoran shakes her head. She is not a thief. She doesn't need a lookout. This little girl is afraid of getting dirty. Well, it is the only owner of the black bear's cave. It has already become Goldie's food. Since there is no danger, it is okay for Lin Luoran to go alone. After walking for a few steps, the stench is so bad that Lin Luoran has to use Reiki to cast a cleaning spell. After the stench is gone, Lin Luoran casts a spell, and a small flame appears on her fingertip. She is indeed using the fire spell to light up the cave. The black bear's cave is deep, but it is not as good as the monkey's cave. There is a waterfall outside, and a natural karst cave inside. Lin Luoran is satisfied with the ventilation and light. Lin Luoran thinks unkindly that the reason why the black bear has troubled the monkeys so many times is that it also wants the excellent water curtain cave of the monkeys. The stench in the black bear's cave is dispelled by Lin Luoran. She walks deeper and deeper into the cave. She sees an open area with a radius of 5 meters. The ground is covered with weeds. It seems that this is the place where the black bear usually rests. However, didn't the old monkey say that there are treasures in the black bear's cave? Lin Luoran can see nothing but weeds in this place. When Lin Luoran is confused, White Fairy suddenly says, Put out the fire. Put out the fire? Lin Luoren pauses. With her eyesight, it is not difficult for her to see things in the dark. It is just a habit of her to want light in the dark. Chapter 108. Sister Lin, is there anything good in it? After spending a few days with Lin, Li knows that Lin is cold on the outside, but warm on the inside. Most of the time, she is cold. If she is smiling, it means she is in a good mood. Thinking of what she got in the bear cave, Lin can't hide her smile. Hearing Li's question, Lin teases her. If you didn't go there before, I won't share it with you now. Li stomps her feet. Lin Luoren has got something good, but she doesn't know about it. Li is really annoyed. Lin Luoren pretends not to notice her anxiousness. Goldie has enjoyed the bear meat and is practicing the pose of golden eagle standing on a big tree. Hearing Lin's call, Goldie rushes down. Lin Luoren touches Goldie's head and takes out a weed she got from the black bear's nest. She throws it to Goldie. Goldie swallows it directly. It seems that he is satisfied with the weed. Lin Luoren feeds Goldie so fast that Li doesn't see it clearly. She becomes more curious. Originally, Lin Luoren didn't want to look for elixirs like luminous sand. However, what she got in the black bear's cave makes her make up her mind. Now that there is a glimmer of hope for the foundation-laying bolus, she should look for luminous sand, even if it is not on her way. Lin Luoren looks at the jade map carefully and compares the location marked in the jade map with the current terrain. The bat cave with luminous sand is in the east. Although it is not far from here, it is in two different directions compared with the exit. That is to say, the bat cave is close to the inner circle of the secret land. According to the jade map, the bat cave is exactly at the junction of the so-called danger zone and the safety zone. Lin Luoren can't decide for Li's life, so she tells Li the location and danger of the bat cave. However, Li is determined to follow Sister Lin. She doesn't want to find Wen Guanjing and others by herself. Lin Luoren doesn't waste time. She summons Goldie, who has just digested the weed, and they fly to the east. Goldie is not as fast as riding on a sword, but Lin Luoren doesn't have to worry about running out of Reiki, except for the fact that Lin Luoren once sensed an unusually powerful breath near a black pool. She told Goldie to speed up and take a detour. Their journey is actually very smooth. Sitting on Goldie's back, Lin Luoren holds back the fear in her heart and looks back. They have already flown more than 10 miles away. A roar comes from the large black pool, and the mud is rolling. A double-headed boa raises its head from the pool and looks at the direction where Lin Luoren and Goldie escaped. The boa hesitates for a while. In the end, it seems that Lin Luoren and Goldie can only be a dessert, not a main course. Finally, the boa gives up chasing. The two heads of the boa look exactly the same. When it is thinking, its scarlet eyes are so cold. Lin Luoren doesn't see it with her own eyes, so she can't feel it. Eagles and snakes have always been enemies. Since the boa showed up, Goldie's short hair on its neck has stood up. It only feels that its parents didn't give it 2 pairs of wings. Its flying speed is doubled. After flying over several mountains, Goldie can no longer feel the cold breath of the boa, and it gradually calms down. Lin Luoren and her servant feel that they have escaped from death. Both of them are relieved. Only Li Shi'er, whose level is not high enough, is sitting on the back of the eagle and looking around. She is proud of Goldie's flying speed. She even wonders whether she should peck a bird like Goldie and take it with her. After this false alarm, Lin Luoren is very careful when choosing the route. There are monsters hiding in the deep mountains and swamps. She tries her best to let Goldie fly in a flat and open area, which saves them a lot of trouble. Even so, when Lin Luoren and Goldie are about to arrive at their destination, it has been 5 days since they left the cave of the Black Bear. Taking into account the time they spent in the Abyss and the Monkey Mountain, it has been 10 days since they entered the secret land. There are still 20 days left. They also need to go back to the exit and get the luminous sand. Do they still have time to collect the rest of the spirit medicines? The landmark of the Bat Cave is easy to recognize. In the beautiful mountains, there is a lonely peak that looks like Optimus Prime. The peak goes straight into the clouds. For some reason, there is no grass on the peak. The surface of the peak is smooth like a polished mirror because of the wind. What surprises Lynn more is that Goldie just hovers in the air. It seems that it doesn't want to land on the Optimus Prime. Goldie doesn't know what is buried under the mountain. They can only land on a nearby peak. Lynn Luoran planned to fly up on her sword. However, the sword of bright snow loses its command and can't move forward. Lynn Luoran doesn't think it is serious if only Goldie and the sword of bright snow are behaving strangely. The bigger problem is that Lynn Luoran doesn't get any response from the Encyclopedia White Fairy. The Soul Stone is lying quietly in Lynn Luoran's universal sack. What on earth is in this mirror-like peak? The Soul Stone scared Goldie away, disturbed the sword of bright snow, and even cut off the connection between Lynn and White Fairy. Lynn Luoran's eyes are gloomy. Should she go or not? The luminous sand is an important and irreplaceable Reiki material in the foundation-laying bolus. If she gives up now, she can't guarantee that she can find the 1,000-year-old luminous sand when she gets out. Looking at Li Shi, who is ignorant, Lynn Luoran has an excuse in an instant. Goldie is throwing a tantrum. I guess it is tired of flying these days. Take it to rest nearby and wait for me. Li Shi is stupid, but she knows that the sword of bright snow can't fly. She is hesitant about Lynn Luoran's excuse. Li Shi wants to ask Lynn Luoran again, but she can't defeat Lynn Luoran's influence on her. Li Shi is coaxed by Lynn Luoran and leaves with Goldie reluctantly. Lynn Luoran takes a look at the towering peak. Since the jade sheet says that there is luminous sand here, someone must have come here to get it. Lynn Luoran makes a gesture. An array of water flashes. It seems that the spells of the 5 elements are not restricted here. This peak is feasible. Since she can't ride on the sword, she can only rely on her feet. Lynn Luoran climbs a few steps and finds that the peak is as slippery as it looks. It is hard for her to walk on it. She takes 2 balls of wet mud and sticks them on the soles of her feet. Then she casts a small spell of the Earth series called Subsidence. The 2 balls of mud soften, and Lynn Luoran wants to sink into the ground. However, the ground is as smooth as a mirror. Without the help of mud, the mud can only hold Lynn Luoran tightly. It is impossible to sink her into the ground. Seeing that this plan is feasible, Lynn Luoran jumps up high. Every time she falls, she will cover a distance of 4 or 5 meters. Though it is a little troublesome to use the ground sinkage, when she is falling, she can still vaguely see the top of the mountain after an hour. The peak is hidden in the clouds. Lynn Luoran doesn't know what is wrong with the bats. Why did they choose such a lonely place as their nest? After exploring for a while, Lynn Luoran finds a cave with the height of 2 people on the west side of the peak. The cave is long and narrow. It must be the nest of the bats. If the cave of the black bear stinks, Lynn Luoran can smell the musty smell standing at the entrance of the bat cave. Yes, it is the kind of musty smell that never sees the sun all year round. Chapter 109. In the deep tunnel, Lynn Luoran's footsteps are almost inaudible. Since the sword of bright snow will be disturbed in the area of the lonely peak, Lynn Luoran can only use spells to guard against it. It is common sense that fire will stimulate the bats, so Lynn Luoran doesn't use illumination. Lynn Luoran thought it was just a bat cave, but the terrain is getting lower and lower. Lynn Luoran wonders if she missed the bottom of the mountain when she explored before. Maybe the bottom of the mountain is connected to the cave at the top of the mountain. However, it is useless to regret now. The deeper she goes, the more spacious the cave becomes. It is more convenient for Lynn Luoran to walk. The only thing was that she hadn't seen a bat cave after walking for so long. Were they all resting in their nest? Or did something unexpected happen? There must be something wrong. Lynn Luoran walks down and becomes more vigilant. The terrain gradually opens up. Lynn Luoran smiles bitterly. It seems that the bat cave is at the foot of the mountain, but it takes her twice the time to come back. But why is it still so quiet? With her eyesight, Lynn Luoran can see that the passage is gradually widening and winding downward, spiraling to the bottom of the mountain. Needless to say, it is dark and mysterious. What makes her nervous is that the passage is so regular that it doesn't seem to be formed naturally. What is waiting for her in the cave at the bottom of the mountain? It is easy to go up the mountain but difficult to go down. Lin Luoran has to be on guard on one side, so it takes her twice more time to walk down the winding tunnel than to go up the mountain. Lin Luoran can't help frowning. It has been 3 hours since she entered the lonely peak, but she hasn't even seen a bat's leg hair. This is not a very good sign. Hey, there is the sound of running water. Lin Luoran stops and listens. After making sure it is right, she can't help but speed up. After making 2 more turns, she finally sees the open terrain. This is a large karst cave hidden under the mountainside. It is also filled with stalactites. The stalactites in the monkey's cave are as beautiful as a dream. But here it is dark and makes people feel cold. The sound of running water that Lin Luoran heard before is next to it. It is an underground river that is not very rapid. Along the underground river, there is a cave entrance. It must be another hidden exit. Lin Luoran is not in the mood to explore. There is a huge smooth stone platform in the cave. 2 people are lying on it. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether they are alive or not. If this wasn't enough, then the piles of skeletons scattered on both sides of the stone platform were shocking. Those were clearly skulls, which meant that these skeletons didn't belong to animals. Lin Luoran gasps. This is not a bat cave. It is a den of devils. Far away from the stone platform, there are a few scattered bats hanging upside down on the stalactites. It seems that they haven't noticed Lin Luoran, the uninvited guest, and are taking a nap with their eyes closed. Below them, a thick layer of luminous sand, or to put it simply bat feces, as high as half a person, appears in Lin's sight. There was so much luminous sand, it was obviously not something that these bats could accumulate over a long period of time. Did the other bats go out to hunt? Lin Luoran clenches her fists. She is not sure whether she should check the 2 people on the platform first, or take the luminous sand and leave. The bats will come back at any time. Lin Luoran thinks quickly. She glances at the 2 people on the platform first. One of them has brown hair, and the other has blonde hair. They are not from the state of Wuxia. Well, although they look familiar, Lin Luoran is not a good person. She has to save everyone she sees. Let's wait and see. Lin Luoran breathes a sigh of relief and makes a decision quickly. Take the luminous sand first. Bats are blind, and they locate their prey by sound waves. Lin Luoran doesn't lower her vigilance just because they are napping. Instead, Lin Luoran approaches the bats very carefully and takes out a small jar that she prepared in advance. Lin Luoran uses the jar of bright snow to dig the black feces slowly. Bat feces stinks when heated. However, as Lin Luoran slowly digs down, she finds that the feces have turned into black crystals 1 foot below. This is the luminous sand, which can be used as medicine. Lin Luoran estimates that it has been around for hundreds of years. Lin Luoran's eyes flash with joy. She continues to dig carefully. When she is halfway through, she finds some white crystals. They are small and white, just a little bigger than white sugar. They are the luminous sand that she is looking for this time. She doesn't know what is controlling the white fairy, and she can't get in touch with her now. Therefore, the secret of her space is less taboo. There are 2 small jars of monkey wine left. After filling 1 jar, Lin becomes greedy. Suddenly, it occurs to her that she hasn't reached the bottom yet. There are already luminous sand over 1,000 years old. Lin Luoran puts the jar full of luminous sand into her space and digs down again. As expected, under the white layer, there are light yellow crystals. Under the light yellow, the yellow crystals are transparent, almost as brilliant as the crystals. Lin Luoran is overjoyed. She takes some of both jars and sighs that this trip is worthwhile. However, she doesn't notice that a black eye flashes in the air beside the stone platform, where the 2 people are lying. Soon it disappears. Lin Luoran fills the 2 jars and feels satisfied. She cleans the sword of bright snow. Not only has the main purpose of this trip been achieved, but she also has an unexpected gain. Should she go out of the cave to avoid unnecessary trouble, or figure out why these 2 people are here? Thinking of the white bones, Lin Luoran feels her blood freeze. Forget it. It's not easy to be a good person. It's better to be a good person. Lin Luoran is a good person. However, she takes care of her compatriots. According to Wen Guanjing, these foreign cultivators will not show any mercy to Wuxia cultivators in the secret land. Lin Luoran should be grateful that she doesn't hit them when they are down. Why should she save 2 enemies for Wuxia? Lin Luoran is about to go out along the underground river. However, she hears a female voice in the murmuring water. Lin Luoran has to stop and hide behind a tall stalactite subconsciously. Dana, we have to hurry up. Those bloodbats will come back soon. The voice speaks fast with a British accent. As soon as the voice stops, Lin Luoran can see them. It's true that enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. It's Crystal and her companion, a handsome man from the bloodline, who look like a noble. Lin Luoran holds her breath carefully and relaxes her body and mind. Under the cover of darkness, she seems to blend in with the background. Crystal walks straight to the platform. Lin Luoran suddenly realizes why she feels that these 2 people look familiar. They are Crystal's followers. Detecting that the 2 people are still alive, Crystal's cold face smiles. She and Dana each hold the hands of one of the 2 people and transfer the special power of their kind to them. The 2 vampires soon wake up. Miss Crystal, I'm so sorry for disturbing you. The 2 vampires wake up. Their first reaction is to apologize when they see who is coming. Their faces are full of fear. It seems that they are really afraid of Crystal. Seeing that Crystal is about to lose her temper, Dana has to remind her. Let's get out of here first. Seeing Crystal's impatience, Dana is speechless. If she didn't want the blood bats, these 2 people wouldn't have risked their lives to enter the cave. Since they are in trouble because of Crystal, Dana thinks that it's reasonable to save them. Crystal is not worth following. Dana comes to a conclusion in his mind. The 4 of them are about to go out when Crystal's ears twitch. Her pale face changes color. They are back. Them? Lin Luoran tightens her body. She is about to rush out of the cave before Crystal and her companions. Considering the speed of the vampires on the sea platform, Lin Luoran is not sure if she can defeat them. Crystal and her companions rush out of the underground river. It seems that they want to get out before the bats enter the cave. Lin Luoran holds her breath. Though she doesn't know why Crystal and her companions are so afraid of the bats, Lin Luoran decides to go back the way they came. Lin Luoran doesn't know how dangerous the bats are. Li Xier, who is guarding the mountain nearby, widens her eyes in horror. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.